Correct, mate.
we shall see, Gabby. Listen, the interest from Arsenal is genuine. I'm told that there have been early discussions between Arsenal and the Morgan Rogers camp, and I think if a huge bid comes in, I'm talking 80.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic three-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower and Neil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time, what a volley, what a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Session with me, Sam Ellard, alongside the former Chelsea FA Cup winner Scott Minto. England continued their World Cup preparations with a 1-0 win against New Zealand. We'll be delving in to who or hasn't put themselves into contention for a starting spot in Thomas Tuchel's 11. I think the one player to come out of last night's game with the most credit in the bank is actually a player who isn't going to the World Cup. Make that make sense. We've got all of your favourite features, sounds of the weekend, Smile, Stranger Things and Statiface. It's also a busy day of sport as England easily secured a first test win against New Zealand. talkSPORT's Will Hobbs. Watch this one.
Day 4 at Lord's was a formality as England wrapped up their 115-run win by lunchtime. Josh Tongue with the second over of the day, dismissing Tom Blundell, LBW. Glenn Phillips and Devon Conway then rallied for a 50 partnership, but once Conway skewed to Jacob Bethel at gully off Ben Stokes, the floodgates then opened. Nathan Smith 4, Carl Jameson 6 and Matt Henry 0, bowled by Gus Atkinson, who completed his fifer. A better pitch expected at the Oval. Will Jofra Archer return? If he does, Who does he replace?
We'll also be right across the Monaco Grand Prix, which just got underway. Watching this one for us is talkSPORT's Tom Clayton.
Lap number 2 and Kimi Antonelli leads away from pole position. Disaster for Max Verstappen off the start, though. He stalled and had to pull off to one side, so he's right at the back of the grid now. In fact, I think he's just pulled into the pits to retire the car. So the two Ferraris are taking advantage. Lewis Hamilton up to second place. Charles Leclerc in his home Grand Prix is third. It's Antonelli who leads us after 2 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix.
And we'll also be right across the final of the French Open. Can Alexander Zverev finally cross the Grand Slam finish line against Flavio Cobolli? Play set to get underway in the next 5 or so minutes. Zverev is the favourite to finally land the major title. He has long been predicted to win. The 29-year-old has lost his 3 previous Grand Slam finals. So much to come over the next 4 hours. It's Sam Ellard and Scott Minto on the Sunday session. Good afternoon, Scott Minto. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sam. But before we dive anything into what we're going to be talking about this afternoon, let's start with this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I'll tell you what, there's some happy birthday songs out there. For me, that is the classic one.
Did you pick this one?
I didn't pick it. If I was asked, I would have picked this one. Bit of Stevie Wonder. Who doesn't love a bit of Stevie Wonder?
I know.
And it's a happy birthday to you, mate. And it's a big one, isn't it?
Is it a big one?
Is it not a big one?
Is 30 a big one? Like, 30 shouldn't be a big one, should it? Like, 21's 21. And then your 40s, your 50s, you go on from there.
Why is it not a big one?
I don't know.
Why?
30 doesn't feel sexy. 30 doesn't feel like, wow, 30's 30.
How do you feel? Do you feel
I feel
sexy?
Absolutely fine. I've been asked that question a lot over the last couple of hours. By the way, we should also just say, we've got, it's a Sunday, right? But Big Al, Alex Irons, running the buttons for us. This is the man that normally does the sports bar.
Yeah.
But you're listening to Kundi and O'Hara going at it, and you've got all those wonderful, things that come in. Do you want to just give us one out? Yeah, there we go. Something like that. The man that does that on the sports bar, we've got that man on the Sunday session with us this afternoon, which is a good birthday present for me.
It is indeed, and I've got it in my contract, by the way, that he's got to work whenever I come in.
Yeah.
But especially today, so happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I feel kind of like normal. Like lots of people have said to me, how do you feel? And I kind of just feel the same, which feels like the most boring answer to give, especially when you're broadcasting on radio. So
what are you doing? What are you doing? What you got planned?
So So Friday evening, my mum we had friends and family go around on Friday. Now that was kind of the main night celebrations.
Okay, nice.
Everyone together, had some food, had some drinks. Really, really nice evening. And just tonight after this show, I'm just gonna go around to mum, but just me, my mum, and my sister tonight. I'm gonna get a Chinese takeaway and keep it quite simple. Yeah. So I feel exactly the same. I also feel like I've let a lot of people down by not sort of organising something big, something sexy. People are like, oh, do you not go out into London and give it the big one?
Off to Ibiza for a few days?
Mate, I'm not Ibiza. I know you and Crookie and Mataface, you love Ibiza and all that.
They haven't been. I've told them to go.
They've never been. Mataface has never been to Ibiza.
I know.
That is the most remarkable thing I've ever heard of all time.
You can imagine him.
I thought you'd have a season ticket next to Wayne Lineker in Ocean Beach, Mr. Mataface. No, how Mataface? I can't believe Mataface, Crook, and Minto haven't done a Premier League All Access podcast yet, live from Ocean Beach post-season.
Do you know what? What a great idea that is. That could easily happen at some point in the future. We should wait and see.
A lot of people are like saying to me, "Oh, I can't believe you're working on your birthday. Why are you working on your birthday? Do you think it's weird that I'm working on my birthday?"
No, listen. I think it's nice. I think clearly you love working for talkSPORT. I don't know how long your contract is. Is it just from week to week at all? Or?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I got a contract 5 years ago, and I don't really know what my contract is.
You're a bit like Erling Haaland then, haven't you? You got like a 10-year, halfway through a 10-year contract.
I haven't been linked with Real Madrid though, unfortunately, which feels a little bit underwhelming, like Haaland has done. Yeah, but I thought, I had a great night Friday night. I was with the cricket yesterday. Here today with Scott Minto, live on talkSPORT. Chinese takeaway this evening.
Do you know what?
Weekend, right?
On a serious note, to spend it with the people who you love the most, and I'm not including myself in that, but, who knows what could happen in the future between me and you, Sam.
I'm a big fan, Scott. I love you just yet. Let's see how the next 4 hours
with your mum and your sister, I think that's lovely.
Do you know what? For me, simple life is a good life.
Yeah.
Friends, family, good food, and we're happy about that. And Neil producing today. All right, don't take the mick out. It's not quite the sports bar. Like we might have the odd moment where give it the old but
give it out. Come on.
And Neil's convincing me that I have to go to a spa he goes to a spa every single birthday. You a fan of the spa?
Does he? I don't mind a spa. No, I don't have the time to go to a spa, but I love a spa. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that not
I've
a bit
never
of you?
been to a spa before in my life.
Young single lads
Yeah. What? Go to a
going
spa?
to the spa.
Oh, was that?
You never know who you could meet.
Oh,
there.
really?
Well, you never know. You never know.
Not a bar.
Sitting there in jacuzzi.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse than to try and impress.
And your
someone
budgie smugglers.
with me, my budgie smugglers on top off in a spa.
Listen,
I mean,
it could
you
be the
know.
one. You never
Yeah,
know.
okay,
It happens when you least
Well,
expect.
I'm on the early breakfast from next week. So I've got lots of early starts, but I've got lots of early finishes. I've
Okay.
got lots of downtime mid-afternoon and early morning. So maybe I'll go to spa.
But if you do Ibiza, let me know. I'll
Okay.
I'll tag along.
Yeah. Okay. I want to come along on your lad trip to Ibiza.
Okay,
You know
all
that. We've got some live sport going on this afternoon. We're going to keep you across the French Open final. We're going to keep you across the Monaco Grand Prix. Head back to Tom Clayton very shortly because already think there's been some big news, big developments in that race. We'll also react to the England cricket team beating New Zealand earlier on today, getting back to winning ways after a tough Ashes. But last night in the world of football, England beat New Zealand by a goal to nil, a Harry Kane goal just before half time, giving Thomas Tuchel Sutter 3 points. Not quite 3 points, was it? But it was minutes into legs. It was victory. Here's Thomas Tuchel.
Overall, I'm happy with the result and the clean sheet, and with the fact that we had 4 training sessions and now 1 game for everyone, and no one is injured. So that's the most important thing, because we can build from that. And I knew that a chunk of players was last time they were with us was November. Some of them, quite a lot of them, missed March camp. So I knew after a long season, after 6 months of not being together. And we had 2 total different teams now on the pitch, that things can look like they looked a bit stuck. I liked the second half more than the first one. I think we played with a little bit more hunger and a little bit more desire, and yeah, we won deserved. That's also what we expect from us, but we will get better, and opponents will get better, we will get better. All good.
Scott, I appreciate that last night was probably mainly about just minutes into the legs, acclimatising the players, etc., but did you learn anything? Was there anything you saw last night where you thought, I like that or I don't like that?
Yeah, look, I mean, there wasn't a great deal, but I don't think we were going to learn loads anyway. And clearly the way he picked the teams, you know, the first half and second half, again, it was almost just sort of individual performances. I think, first of all, getting used to the conditions, I think, was absolutely key. So at least they've had 45 minutes doing that. No one got injured, even more important. So can move on to the next game, Costa Rica, where hopefully the same thing will happen and he can choose whoever he wants. You know, I was on here a couple of nights ago and I said that I think he knows his best 11 anyway. We'll have to wait and see whether he's changed his mind or not, because I think, you know, we'll talk about it maybe a little bit later, maybe not, in terms of who's going to play on the left wing, who's going to be alongside Mark Guehi. I think that's going to be really important as well. I think the pitch was shocking. I mean, I actually stayed up and watched the Brazil-Egypt game afterwards. And yes, they played a couple of hours later, so it looked a little bit cooler. There was shade over the pitch. The pitch looked a lot better. But Brazil, the sort of fast-paced way of playing, it wasn't really... I didn't see that with us. And I understand the 2 sets of 45 minutes for sure, but I just think it could have been, let's do the 11, I think. Obviously, there was no Arsenal players, but it's close to the 11 that we think. So you just get little patterns of play, getting used to being alongside each other. I wonder when the game, the team that's picked against Croatia, when we look at that 11, how often they've played together under Thomas Tuchel or at all. So I just think now it's about, yes, getting used to conditions and no one getting injured, but actually... those little partnerships
on that 11
pitch.
on the pitch for at least a couple of games to find patterns.
Especially at centre-half.
My guess would be, to answer that question, I'd be fairly confident in saying they've probably never all been on the pitch at the same time.
I think so.
Given how frequent players pull out with injuries and stuff.
And again, you know, no Arsenal players, so, you know, he couldn't do anything about that, and I think he was right to give them a little bit of time off. But I just think he must know his 11, who he thinks. Who he thinks, you know, we can argue about it, but... who he thinks, he must know who is going to start if everybody's fit. So why not just, under those conditions, just get them playing with each other and getting used to that? Just little things like little partnerships you can gain, the way you talk to each other, the way you think, okay, when I've got the ball here, my body shape's here, he wants it there. Just little things that on the pitch you can only pick up in a match situation.
Lots more England chat to come, Scott, in the next couple of hours. After the break, I want to ask you, maybe you can name your 11, and also ask you about Rio Ingamoa, who I thought really impressed last night. But now it's time for this.
When you're smiling.
Sounds of the weekend, we go through the news to find you two of the biggest stories of the week, which you can send in some song suggestions on the text 81089 or via WhatsApp 03717 223344. Here are our stories. Our first sounds comes from the England camp. And as Thomas Tuchel answered the media's questions, he gave Eberechi a nice comfort blanket. The England manager said that he and his players will make it their mission to personally take care of the Arsenal star who unfortunately missed his penalty in the Champions League final. So we want song suggestions about taking care or being there for your loved ones. Story number 2. The crazy drama over in Spain. Real Madrid's presidential race turned into a transfer showdown. Florentino Perez and challenger Enrique Riquelme have both been dangling blockbuster signings to win over voters. Perez has promised a new £150 million Galactico signing if re-elected, while Riquelme has gone even bigger by pledging to bring in Erling Haaland. And Rodri should say Erling Haaland's camp very much were like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So we want some song suggestions relating to empty promises, songs about money. I think you get the point. I did this last week with Perry Groves.
He's good.
And he knows, he can name a song about anything. But like the text for 4 hours did not stop. Suggestions after suggestions. Now, I said this last week. I'm not great with music.
Not me.
And it's basically Perry Groves staring at me for 4 hours, wondering how on earth do you not know what this song is or this song is. So if you're not good with music either, we are literally going to need lots and lots of help from our listeners today.
The Sunday shows that I've been on with Sam, trust me, the listeners never let us down.
Okay.
So there'll be loads coming in for sure.
Okay, well, our first songs of the weekend are coming right up. Again, get involved on the text 81089. Also, calls in England. England fans last night, what did you like? What didn't you like? Who do you want to see in that starting 11 for that first World Cup game against Croatia? Get involved on 03717 223344. It is the Sunday session and we're live on talkSPORT.
Let's talk about the World Cup then in a bit more detail. England, of course, touched down in America ahead of the competition. Let me get your views on the squad. Lots of players that a lot of people should have been in it weren't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Gibbs White, Adam Wharton, Trent, of course, Harry Maguire being another one. What have you made of the squad and the players that aren't going?
All of them players are the real technicians. Adam Wharton, Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent. And Trent. So my opinion personally is the majority of them players should have gone, because I think that holding the ball in a World Cup is the most crucial thing, and being that team. But Thomas has gone the other way. Thomas, you can see he's picked by the team he's picked. It's going to be a sort of low to mid block, and he's going to look for counter-attacking football, right? So personally, I would have done it differently, but I like the fact that he's picked the type of players for his style of football that he thinks going to do it. And like, we're still a week gone from the squad, and we're still talking about the players not there. I'm almost like, listen, nobody would have picked now 26 players that Thomas would have picked. So we'd all have a disagreement somewhere. It's done now. That it's history. Like, this is the way we're going. And I like the fact that he's strong enough to go, I want these players, and these are the players that are going to do it for me.
It's a crazy one, because for me, I understand what you're saying there, but the Gibbs White one to me just doesn't make any sense. You know, when you're trying to rack your brain, he has been unbelievable this season. And even the way he ended the season, he probably ended the season better than he started it. And if
Sunday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto with you until 6 o'clock this evening. Sounds of the weekend are two stories. The England camp vowing to take care of Eberechi Eze after the Champions League final penalty miss. Then the Real Madrid candidates promise crazy signings. So for that story, promise you a miracle by Simple Minds. Thank you, Paul, the Man City fan.
You're too young to remember that one,
yeah. So again, this is the problem with this feature. Basically, most of these songs are too young for me.
I'm
you're
not
going to give me daggers. Yeah, no, I know that.
You don't have to quite say it like
only
that.
Because you said on the warm-up with Max and Barry that you are a little bit older than me. I've also got Take Care by Rihanna with the Eze and Tuchel story. Are you a Rihanna fan, Scott, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say fan, but you know, I think, yeah.
Could you name 3 Rihanna songs?
Great no.
No worries if not.
One with Calvin Harris.
Yeah. We Found Love?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. No, I
one's good. We'll take one. I'm happy with one. Now we're giving you the chance
you are then.
Say again?
I take it you are.
A Rihanna fan? Yeah, Rihanna's good. Rihanna's good. She's got some absolute belters out there.
Yes.
Big fan of Rihanna. Now, Scott, we are giving all of our wonderful listeners the chance to win a trip to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, courtesy of Adidas. You and a mate could be in New York on June 27th, seeing England versus Panama live. We've got your flights, hotel, spending money, match tickets, and the official Tron match ball all covered. Head to talksportwin.com to enter. And for full T's and C's now, we're talking to Sam Matterface very, very shortly. He was on commentary duty last night, wasn't he, for TV. On the England-New Zealand game, England head coach Thomas Tuchel fielding entirely different teams in each half as World Cup preparations continued with a victory against New Zealand. After the game, talkSPORT spoke to Barcelona's new star, Anthony Gordon.
Definitely, we believe. I think when you got this calibre of player in every position, you have to believe. But the thing that makes you believe the most is the togetherness, is the camaraderie off the pitch, which is the best I've been a part of in an England team so far in my career. The best thing is that everyone's rooting for each other. There's no negativity, everyone's on the same path. If another player's in your position, you support them and give the team your best version. And if everyone does that, we'll get as far as we possibly can.
Well, normally Sam Matterface is the host of this wonderful show, the Sunday Session on talkSPORT, but now he joins us on the show over in America. Sam, how are you? Good morning.
Sam.
Very good morning to both of you. Yeah, it's just gone 9:20 here in West Palm Beach in Florida. The sun is out, which is great because the first few days that we were here, it wasn't like that at all. But the sun was definitely shining yesterday when we were in Tampa, which is about 4 hours north and west from here. And we watched England labour through 2 halves of football. Look, I didn't think it was anything other than what I expected. I knew it was going to be a training session from the start. That's how Thomas Tuchel had told us he wanted to navigate the game against New Zealand. So I didn't get really anything that I didn't expect yesterday. I thought that the only thing that worried me a little bit was the lack of firepower that England seemed to have in front of goal against a team that's ranked 85th in the world. And actually, Darren Baisley, who's the manager of New Zealand, after the game did say England didn't hurt us very much. And that is one of the issues that they have to solve over the next little while they're training here in Florida, is how to ensure that they score more goals when Harry Kane is not on the pitch. Because at the moment, if he isn't on the pitch, they rarely look like scoring one, which is a concern. Not that I'm too worried about 1-0 in the heat. I imagine there'll be a lot of games this summer that are 1-0.
We heard there from Anthony Gordon, Sam. Is that one of the bigger headaches that Thomas Tuchel's got over the next week or so? Who plays in that left-hand side between Anthony Gordon and Marcus Rashford?
Not really. Marcus Rashford will start the game against Croatia. I'd probably say that quite stridently now. And the reason for that is he's fitter, he's sharper. He's played more football recently than Anthony Gordon, whose first minutes yesterday came after being missing since the 12th of April. So he hasn't played any football. And I think privately, he would acknowledge that he wasn't up to full speed yesterday, and he's only got a little while in order to get to that level. And when you're a top pro and playing in these conditions, you need to be at your top level in order to get the best out of yourself and be able to contribute to the team. I think he'll get there, but it will take a couple more weeks for him. I thought Rashford looked really sharp yesterday, actually. He looks leaner, he looks stronger. He came out here to the east coast of the United States to get some minutes under the belt before everybody else had arrived. So he's been doing some warm weather training, and he's got a purpose. He really wants to show the world that he can still contribute at the highest level. He's obviously open to a move in this summer as well. That's something that will happen at some point over the course of the next few months. But his concentration is completely on England right now, and he's got an opportunity to make an impact in this team. Thomas Tuchel loves him, with good reason, because there was a good moment in the first half when he went down the left-hand side, he took on Tim Payne, beat him with a little bit of skill, got to the byline, produced a cross for Harry Kane, and that header was steered over the bar by the goalkeeper. That was his best moment yesterday. He had a couple of other instances where he cut in on his right foot and his finishing wasn't perfect. But look, I think that he will be a big part of the team. I thought what Anthony said about the togetherness and the unity was really important as well. And having been to the England camp last week, that shone through for me.
Yeah, Sam, I wrote it down listening to Anthony Gordon saying it there, no negativity, and I think that's really important. And in terms of Marcus Rashford as well, it is a double motivation. Of course, he's focusing on England and trying to win the World Cup, but of course he wants to show to the rest of Europe and the top clubs around that he's still a force to be reckoned with. So it's interesting you say that he's absolutely, or it looks like he's pretty nailed on. The other position I'm sort of thinking is centre-back. You know, we've heard about John Stones being one of the senior players and how important he is within the camp as well, with Jordan Henderson obviously being another one of those, Harry Kane as well. Do you think that he could be starting alongside Mark Guehi, or do you think Ezri Konsa will have that slot?
Great question, Scott. And it is one of those I think that is still up for grabs. I think John is the preferred defender, and he would be desperate, Thomas Tuchel, to get him in the team if he could. He loves him. He thinks he's a brilliant footballer, but he thinks he reads the game superbly. The only concern that he has over John is whether he's fit. He maybe isn't 100% fit, but he wouldn't be 100% fit right now, having played, you know, the 86 Premier League minutes in 2026. I mean, that is of concern. And he's only played just over 300 minutes in all football, all told, since the 9th of December. So he hasn't been playing regularly for Manchester City. He does need to get some severe training under his belt. But this is a guy who always turns up for tournaments for England. Go back over the course of the last few years, and you'll see when you look at England's team sheets from all of the most recent successes, John Stones will be at the heart of it. So I can understand why Thomas Tuchel's desperate to get him in. But Ezri Konsa, I thought actually when he came on in the second half was excellent. And I've been really growing towards Ezri Konsa over the course of the last couple of years. I think he's taken on this role that he has superbly. He's come through a different route to a lot of players. He's been excelling at Aston Villa. He's a trophy winner. When we spoke to him on Friday, he was in great spirits, and he talked about that mentality that, you know, the fact that 14 of the 26 have recently won trophies, it gives you a sense of elevation in your own self-worth. And I think we've seen that with Declan Rice, you know, winning the Conference League, winning the Premier League. If you look at the way Declan Rice has started to carry himself over the course of the last few years, you can see that the impact of winning trophies and being part of big occasions has had on him. And I think the more that players that you've got in your group that have done that, the better your team is going to be. So I think centre-back is definitely a discussion, but it's a good problem to have if you've got John Stones or Ezri Konsa as your two choices.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you know what I think about the position of left-back. I don't know if I've got time touching it. Striker's slightly more important. It is interesting, though, isn't it, that Ollie Watkins was kind of played a little bit out wide, and Ivan Toney was given the second half as that proper striker position. Ollie Watkins can do that because he's a little bit more versatile in that respect. Both having one clear-cut chances. Tony's one obviously was offside, but still you want to stick it in the back of the net and then look at the linesman afterwards. How do you feel they are? Because we all feel, I think, we all know the importance of Harry Kane, but we also know he can't play every minute of every game and still be fresh towards the latter stages. So where were the other two right now with Thomas Tuchel?
Well, I think Thomas Tuchel obviously decided to leave Ollie out in March. So I don't ever think that he's been fully committed to the Ollie Watkins project, to be honest with you, because he leaves him out with regularity. But he has called him back for the World Cup. And what a response from Ollie. if you think that since March he's scored an inordinate number of goals, in his last 13 games of the season he scored 12 goals. If you've been left out because you're not scoring enough, and that was the sort of charge from Thomas Tuchel, well, you've responded in spades. With Ivan Toney is here for a specific purpose, right? Okay, so he came out to get minutes yesterday. I think that the reason that the way they played yesterday was all down to this. They wanted every single outfield player to get 45 minutes, because what they didn't want to do was today and tomorrow is split the group up. You know what it's like when you play a game the next day, the players that didn't get the 90 minutes have to come out and have a blowout. Now, he didn't want to do that. He wanted everybody to stay together this week. So he wanted 45 minutes for the starters and the finishers. Because of that, there has to be some positional compromise. As a result, he played Watkins over on the right-hand side. I think that caused problems for the others as well, because Kane loves to drop deep. Watkins was sort of out of position. Rodgers was then wandering into territory where Watkins and Harry Kane wanted to be, so he wasn't as effective. Actually, Rashford looked better because he was left to his own devices more on that left-hand side. But in terms of Ivan Toney, he will be charged just to come on when England need a goal. That is it. And if England are going to penalties, he will come on. He knows that role. He's been told that role. And he was invited to the World Cup with that as the proviso. Can you accept being that player? He said, absolutely. And as a result, Thomas Tuchel said, come with us.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully we'll chat to you soon.
Cheers, boys. Have a good rest of the day and enjoy the show. It's a long one, but you'll be fine, Sam.
Oh, I hope so. If I can be 10% as good as Sam Matterface, then Sam Ellard is going to be very, very happy.
Do you make your bed as well as he does as well, by the way? You see that in the program.
I was quite impressed. He strikes me, Sam, as a little bit of a clean freak. Like, he's probably got the neat and tidy and stuff like that. So yeah, he can come to Ibiza with us, with me, you and Crookie. Formula One heads to Monaco for the most famous race on its calendar, underway at 2:00, so half an hour into the race. Tom Clayton, what's the latest?
Lap number 23 of this Monaco Grand Prix. Kimi Antonelli leads, and off the start where Max Verstappen stalled and effectively his engine went absolutely not, and he had to pull off and retire from the race, Antonelli fired off into the distance. After about 5 laps, he had a 5-second lead over Lewis Hamilton in second. Hamilton did bring that gap down to about 2 seconds, but over the last few laps, Antonelli's really put his foot down, stretched that lead. He's currently leading Antonelli from Hamilton and then Leclerc in third. There's also a battle for fourth between Hadjar and Russell. Hadjar having some real engine problems, so not a good day for the Red Bulls. By the way, happy birthday, Sam, and I can tell you from experience, 30 is a very sexy age indeed. Lap number 23 at the Monaco Grand Prix, Antonelli leads.
Love that, Tom.
No, I'm actually speechless. I just didn't think Tom Clayton, while, in one of the biggest and most important races in F1 history, was going to say the word sexy.
Oh, well, I didn't expect it either. By the way, go on.
No, go on. I was going to say to Tom, obviously doing a great job, but there's no Kim Kardashian interview yet. She's on TV, she's everywhere. Can Tom Clayton not go and track down Kim Kardashian, please, for a talkSPORT worldwide exclusive? That would be proper journalism.
Well, apparently he's not allowed to be within 200 metres of her already, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay,
actually, that's not true. Can I just say?
No. We now move on very, very quickly. Who's texting you?
So another Tom Matterface.
Is he
Sam's brother?
Oh, there we go. What are the chances?
So he said, little fact check. We did Ibiza before it was cool. Family vacations 3 times in the late 80s and early 90s, and he's watching on YouTube.
Oh, is he really? What's he like compared to Sam? Are they quite similar, or are they different people?
No, they are very different, actually. Yeah. They're very different. Tom's much more sort of chilled and relaxed. Sam, obviously,
thank God for that.
Just knows everything. Sam's absolutely on it, bang on it all the time.
I hadn't noticed.
But yeah, and no, two very different people, but but very close brothers.
Tom Matterface, 037.
Tom lives in the States, by the way.
22 33 44. Come on and get involved on talkSPORT. We want to take your calls this afternoon. What did you enjoy last night from the game? Is it Rashford Gordon on that left-hand side? Let's talk Rio Ingamoa as well. It is the Sunday session, and we are live on talkSPORT.
He's the sort of player, Andy, that you can't really look at age because he could play at this level for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Do you think that long?
Yeah, I do.
31. You think he could be playing?
Doesn't rely on his pace.
No, he doesn't. But it's very rare you get great players. Can even look at Mo Salah, right? Last season,
Relying on his
before last
pace.
was. Yeah,
you know what I
well,
mean?
I did look at Salah and thought his pace had gone. His just whole game went all of a sudden overnight.
Yeah. I think when I watched him, he didn't look as quick. But I feel like Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? You'll find a position for him, even if his legs do go a little bit. He's just that talented. His passing range, mate. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces.
Reportedly has a £57 million release clause for European clubs. That means he can't throw him if they go to Man City. Should the likes of Real Madrid be all over that? Is that a bargain?
I would. If I'm Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, any club, maybe not PSG, that they've got a very good midfield. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm saying not a chance. 60 million, 70 million, I'll say no. I feel like he's that good to what Manchester United have done in the last season we just had. And going forward, who are you going to buy to replace him?
Yeah. Well, my view earlier on was get the 57, put 43 to it and go out and get Elliot Anderson. And then you're starting again because he's a young kid.
Of course, yeah. But Elliot Anderson, Bruno Fernandes, two different players.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Do you know what I mean? You need to get Elliot Anderson as well as keeping Bruno Fernandes. And how much money will it cost you if you sold Bruno Fernandes? You might get 57 million, but maybe you miss out on Champions League next season.
Point. Yeah.
So
this was just to remind you. This was Bruno's quote last November. He said, "From the club side, I felt a bit of if you go, it's not really that bad for us. More than hurting, it makes me sad because I'm a player. They have nothing to criticise me for." The fact that Omar Barada came out and didn't give it the old, he'll definitely be here. We'd like him to stay. Of course we do.
yeah, it's very odd because maybe the club might look at it and say,
The Sunday session on talkSPORT, Sam Ellard and Scott Minto with you until 6. Let's, Scott, just carry on touching on some of the...
Can I just read out a couple of texts, by
go
the
on,
way?
of course you can.
One from Nelly Franbo. Happy birthday, Sam. So you were born the day before Euro 96 started.
There we go.
Is that right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, well done. Another one, Tony. Hi, Sam. Happy birthday, lad. I hear you are half Scouse. With a thumbs up. emoji.
My mum and all of her side of the family are Scousers and born in
Are they?
Liverpool. I was born
Proper
in
Liverpool?
London. Proper Liverpool.
Not like
Liverpool.
Not a plastic Scouser like me.
No. Liverpool. My mum moved down to London when she was maybe in her mid to late 20s. Met my dad, who was a Londoner. I was born in London, but my dad didn't have a team. he wasn't massive into football. So I kind of went with my mom's side of the family.
Okay.
And that was Liverpool. So, I've got Scouse blood in me for sure. There we go.
There you go.
Big up, Tony. Scott, any more WhatsApps there? Sorry.
No, that's enough for now. But any more? Want to wish you
good.
a happy birthday, Sam? Please just text him. What
we can't make
say
that
the number.
We can't make that a text, can we? If you want to wish me a happy birthday, please text in on 81089.
There can be. I'll tell you what. Then let's make a line about England or
Okay.
even Scotland as well.
Sure.
With a little happy birthday at the end of it.
Okay. That was your idea, by the way, not my idea. That feels a little bit awkward. Last night, Liverpool's Rio Ingamura at 17, not in the 26-player squad for the World Cup, was given his debut to become the 5th youngest player to represent England. In the game, he completed the most dribbles, also won the most duels on his England debut last night. He looked quite good, didn't he, Scott?
He did, and do you know what? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. So I always try and think, okay, instead of just thinking about the here and now, can we understand what Thomas Tuchel's decision was? Because on the face of just last night, you're thinking, you read that at the very, very top. Can't remember how you phrased it now, but
the player that impressed me the most was the one player who's not in the 26-man squad.
And you were absolutely spot on, very cleverly written. So clearly, Anil wrote that. I'm joking.
I'm pushing back on that one.
I'm joking. I thought he was superb, and he's got one of those kind of. There was a texter in saying Chelsea lost a superstar in Rio and Gomorrah with a laughy emoji, which I think was bang out of order, Tony. But that's another Tony. But yeah, obviously, came through the Chelsea academy, went to Liverpool, and he, there's a lot of Liverpool fans who are saying, maybe you were one of them, that actually should have had many more minutes in the season just gone. And he's playing like he's playing with his under 17, 18 mates down the park. And yet he's playing for England. So in many respects, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I still don't think Thomas Tuchel would change, because obviously with Saka and Madueke, he would be the most vulnerable. Noni Madueke, who was a player that I really liked at Chelsea, actually. He's done really well for England, especially under Thomas Tuchel. So I think he wouldn't change anyway.
I think Arne Slot got a lot wrong last season at Liverpool, and the lack of minutes he gave to Rio and Gomorrah is one of the things he got most wrong, especially given Salah was out of form for most of the season. Cody Gakpo really, really struggled. There was injuries as well to different players in the front three, whether it was Isak or whether it was Ekitike, and there would be so many games where you think surely it's got to be Ingamara who's got to start, and he wouldn't start him. There was the Chelsea game at home where he did start and was taken off after an hour.
No, but he had cramp there though. Arne Slot said afterwards.
Yeah.
The fans didn't know at the time.
Okay, but the broader point was, Scott, though, that every time he was on the pitch with Liverpool, he was quick, he was direct, he was skillful, he'd get past the man. There's a couple of times where you watched him and you thought, if you were a little bit more experienced, there was the odd time he should have released the ball. He'd try and maybe go past one man too many.
But Sam, that comes with experience. And the only way to get experience is to be playing minutes. What I found interesting last night was that he played on the right. And he was a sort of right-footed right winger, which
old school
don't always get.
You'll never
nowadays.
catch on, Scott.
Exactly. So actually, even for Liverpool, he could play on the left or the right. I get it. He had a really good half. I thought he played really well, and I actually genuinely think he could do well for England, which puts more pressure on, not so much on Saka, but more on Madueke. But I think Madueke's done a great job over the last 18 months for England. So I can understand why he went for him at the time.
I can't.
But he should have put him in the 55.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
yeah, 100%. You touched on at the top that you're convinced and Thomas Tuchel knows what the England 11 is.
Well, I don't, but
I'll just read it out. Obviously, Pickford in goal. Yeah. James, Konza, Gahey, O'Reilly, Anderson, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Kane, Rashford.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Are we thinking about the Croatia game?
The Croatia game.
So listen, I'm a massive fan of Jude Bellingham, and I think not just Harry Kane, but Jude Bellingham, if we are to win the World Cup, they've got to be at their very best. I'll be interested to see whether Bellingham actually starts the World Cup or not, because Morgan Rogers has done so well. And the other one is that centre-half role as well. How fit is John Stones? That first game against Croatia is so important. If we win that one, we should win the next two and win the group. And I think it's really important to win the group as well. We want to avoid France and Spain, because I think they're the two favourites. So, and you look.
I'm a big Morgan Rogers fan, but I think his form tailed in a little bit towards the end of the season. And I think Thomas Tuchel knows what he's got in Jude Bellingham, and I think Jude Bellingham will be England's first choice number 10 for the World Cup.
I think he needs to be finishing the World Cup. I'm interested to see who starts it, because Thomas Tuchel has gone big on the people who have done it for me. And Morgan Rogers, I think, under Tuchel, has been superb. So to drop him at the start of the World Cup for Jude Bellingham, who can get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on. As I say, I think Bellingham, ultimately, if it's the World Cup final, I'm picking him. And he's one of my first names on the team sheet. But starting the World Cup, I think it's going to be interesting.
You're also really, really not happy, aren't you, with a certain left back that's not in America right now?
Yeah. I look at Lewis Hall and I think, you know, what more could he have done over the whole season, really? I know towards the end of the season has been played at right back, and I don't think he was 100% happy with that. But if you want to pin down to one game or a couple of games, and you shouldn't do that, it should be more than that. But I just think the example, the snapshot of how good Lewis Hall is, was when he played against Barcelona. And actually, not only did he mark Lamine Yamal pretty much out of the game, but he got forward lots as well. You know, I remember playing at left back and you sort of like, okay, this is a really good right wing I'm up against. My job solely today is just to keep him quiet.
Stop them.
If I can take him the other way, that's great, because you want to get him away from the final third. But Lewis Hall, I thought that day in the one-on-one situations against, I think, the biggest talent in the world. Whether you say he's the best player in the world already right now is obviously up for debate. I think he's the biggest talent, even more so than Kylian Mbappe. And yet he kept him really, really quiet. I just think he had a wonderful season, and he would have been close to actually starting for England. So when he wasn't in there, along with Harry Maguire, my eyebrows were raised as to why he wouldn't be. Because I was really surprised last night that Nico O'Reilly didn't start left back. If he doesn't start left back, he's got to get used to the conditions playing left back, because it is different from a physical point of view, playing left back and playing midfield. And then, so what happens if he gets injured? You've got no natural left back. I'm sorry, Dan Burn won't be the left back.
No.
And then you've got Jed Spence or Livramento.
There's so, like, we could probably do between now and England's first game. We could just talk about that World Cup squad and probably do hours and hours and days and weeks on plays that
your way
aren't
of
there.
shutting me up?
Like, no, not at all. Like, I've literally got 3 other names that I want to just throw at you, and I might do that between now and the end of the show. England winning last night. Scott next up for England. Another warm-up, international friendly, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock kickoff. England versus Costa Rica, presented by Adrian Durham. Commentary, of course, from Jim Proudfoot and the former England captain, Stuart Pearce. In the tennis, the French Open final, they are underway between Zverev and Koboli. Both these players chasing their first major. And in the first set, Zverev has broken Koboli, so he's 2-1 up, and he's leading 40-15 on serve. Zverev has lost 3 major finals, looking to win that first major. Back to Monaco very, very shortly for the most famous race on its calendar. The F1 is in Monaco. And also in the world of cricket today, England took less than a session on the 4th day of the first test against New Zealand to begin their post-Ashes rebuild with a much-needed victory, beating New Zealand by 115 runs. We'll have some reaction to that coming up over the next couple of hours. This is the Sunday session, and we're on talkSPORT.
To be considered a big club, like the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
What, Man City's bigger than Arsenal?
Well, in Europe they are. They've won the competition.
Cool, they won the... But what are we saying? Are we talking about trophies, or are we talking about...
I'm talking about dining at the top table with all the big heads that have won it. Do you think you need...
What, so we're only basing this on Europe? So if you win the European Cup, that means you're a big club?
In Europe.
Well, are we not going off all the trophies that we've won?
We haven't won that many.
We've won
Arsenal? Are you joking?
Well, okay, take FA Cups out of it.
No, forget FA Cups. Leagues.
You can
Leagues.
include
What about leagues?
it.
We've won
include
more
it in
Premier
FA
Leagues
Cup.
than Liverpool.
I know, but I'm just saying. My question is: do you think you need to win Europe's
we don't-
biggest competition to be considered a big club?
No, because I think we are one of the biggest clubs in the world anyway, and that'll just be a cherry on top.
We are.
I don't think you're in
Come
the
on,
top 10.
You
What?
idiots.
Are you talking about your local pub or are you talking about the world?
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
Dreams can come true. Look at me, babe, I'm with you. You know
It is the Sunday session. We're on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and a smiling Scotty Minto. Sounds of the weekend. Our story is today. The England camp vowing to take care of Ezra after that Champions League penalty miss, and the Real Madrid candidates promised crazy signings. One of them was Erling Haaland. And I think Erling Haaland's camp were quite quick to be like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So Dreams by Craig, the Burnley fan, is Gabriel. Yeah, not the Arsenal centre-back, right?
No, not that.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, and also Bill Withers, Lean on Me. That was from Steve, the Manchester United fan.
Can you name me one more tune, Bill Withers?
No, sorry, no.
Lovely Day.
Yeah, Lovely Day.
Yeah, so you just told there.
Yeah, no, I know, but I do know that song does sound like I can picture that, hear that song.
It's a great tune.
Yeah. So there we go. Keep your sounds of the weekend songs coming in on 81089. You saw a good one on the text, didn't you, Scott? That you liked?
I did. Stephen Winchon, who I recognise the odd time I do the Sunday show with Sam. Tell Me Lies by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
That's a great one, Steve.
Yeah. We'll have that one for later on in the show. Now, Scott, I'm sure you know the World Cup is just days away. There are less than 2 weeks until England take on Croatia. We've just released a fresh batch of tickets for our World Cup fan zone in Birmingham for only £15 all in. And yes, that includes a free pint. Join over 2,500 fans at the region's largest fan zone event to watch the action on the UK's biggest screen. We're bringing the ultimate match day vibe with the talkSPORT Battle Bus, appearances from Gabby Bonor and other presenters, and a massive DJ set, including from Happy Mondays legend Bez. So head to talksport.com/fanzone right now and don't miss out. That's talksport.com/fanzone. That sounds pretty exciting, Scott, doesn't it? The talkSPORT a night out with talkSPORT watching England versus Croatia.
So that's Gabby, isn't it?
You weren't listening, were you?
Gabby, yeah, I was listening.
Yeah, Gabby.
Well, I've heard it a few times.
Have you really? So you then just switch off and go on your phone and check the Instagram.
Listen, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure Gabby is going to be there.
Yeah, I just said that. Man.
Amongst many others.
He's the main event, I think, of the big event in Birmingham. Have you been given the call up for that?
No.
Did you fancy getting up to Birmingham for a talkSPORT fan zone event?
Yeah, wouldn't bother me.
Did you do one a couple of years ago, like a little Q&A at one of the for the European Championships? Was that?
It was in Waterloo.
Yeah.
It was quite cool, the area actually, and it was brilliant. The fan zone, absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
atmosphere was amazing. So this would be fantastic.
You know, like a lot of people over the last couple of days have mates go, oh, the World Cup, I'm just not into it yet. Oh, there's too many games and stuff like that. Like I'm hearing a lot of that at the moment, and I'm thinking to myself, come on now, it's going to give it the first evening, and then the whole country like that. World Cup fever is gonna take over.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I was playing in a charity golf day. I'm a patron of a kiddies charity, and we had Brian Robson, by the way, as a Q&A. He was sensational, absolutely.
It's a good name drop you've just dropped in there, haven't you? Legend.
Dropped in there with a big sound as well as it hit the floor. And but one of the guys I was playing with, and he said, I'm not really feeling it at the moment. I said, trust me,
you wait.
The moment it starts, you will. And we're in one of the last groups, and so by the time that we actually play, there'll be a zillion games already played. The whole country will be feeling it. And the thing I love about a World Cup is you don't even have to like football to be involved in it. The country just gets together, And
I've got 5 weeks of my mum just WhatsApping me the most random questions of all time about stuff that I'll have no idea
mine
about.
as well.
But that's part of the fun, is that everybody, my mum won't watch the Premier League on a Saturday 12:30.
And she thinks she knows what she's talking about now.
I know.
And I'm like, Mum...
She's joining us at 3 o'clock, by the way. She's a live guest at 3 o'clock, live on talkSPORT, giving us her thoughts on Scotland's win against Bolivia. In terms of Scotland, their last game before the World Cup was a comfortable victory. Are they set for a memorable competition? We know that to wait a long time, Scott, to get themselves back into the World Cup. But are you confident that the Scotland could maybe surprise a few people?
I think we need to be careful. I think the Scots they don't need me to tell them. Look, that is a great result, and it's brilliant what Stevie Clarke has done. Really pleased for him. Again, he signed a new contract, so he's going to stay even longer. But I think it's one of those where, don't forget against Curaçao when it was 11v11, they were struggling. I'm not saying they wouldn't have won 11v11, but it wasn't until the guy got sent off that they suddenly picked up. Listen, just don't think. Just concentrate on that first game. Beat Haiti. You beat Haiti, you've got a great chance, because don't forget 8 third-place finishes are there. So if you can nick a point against either Morocco or Brazil, fantastic, or just don't get heavily beaten. And then you can get through to the round of 32. And that's something that Scotland as a country has never done before. Heard Steve Nicol say on talkSPORT a few days ago that it would almost feel like winning the World Cup, just doing something that the country's never done before. So, yeah, just concentrate on that Haiti game. Obviously, they stuck 4 past New Zealand. We didn't.
They beat Haiti.
Got to, though.
They're pretty much through, aren't they?
Got to. And who am I to tell Stevie Clarke how to play? 4-4-2, go for it, be on the front foot, 2 wide players, 2 strikers, get those early goals in and put 3 points on the board.
1 hour done, 3 hours to go on the Sunday session. We are live on talkSPORT. Another break from Zverev in the final of the French Open. Now 4-1 up in that first set against Kumboli. Heading back to the Monaco Grand Prix very shortly. This is the Sunday session. Days away then from the start of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And coming up, we'll be giving you a big preview of what's to come across the talkSPORT network.
Buenos dias.
To remember going back a couple of years when he was linked with a move to Real Madrid, and Bournemouth fell off a cliff after that because he seemed to be sort of wavered by what happened with the attention that came his way when the big boys came calling. So he's got to almost mature himself. Next couple of years down the line, maybe he will be able to handle it a little bit better this time around. But if Liverpool had any reservations, I would imagine that that would be one of them. Bournemouth finished 6th last season, 1 position and 3 points behind Liverpool in the league. They qualified for next season's Europa League. What represents success for Andoni Iraola this time around, Crook?
It's a brilliant question. Winning the title, I guess, would be the aspiration, because Arne Slot achieved that in his first season. Jurgen Klopp won it as well. So I think that there'll be the high standards that he'll be asked to try and achieve. Obviously, the bare minimum is Champions League football. And in fairness, Arne Slot did achieve that, but they can't afford to lose the number of games that they did last season. Actually, if you go back to the start of his tenure at Bournemouth, what was it? No wins in 9. A few people were suggesting maybe Bournemouth had made a mistake. In fairness, the hierarchy there never felt that. They saw what he was doing day in, day out in training. They looked at the data. They knew results would improve, and they did. he can't go 9 games at Liverpool without winning, because straight away the pressure is going to be on him from that expectant Anfield crowd. And
to succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic 3-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower and Neil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time. What a volley! What a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
You are listening to the Sunday Session. We are live on talkSPORT with me, Sam Ellard, and the former Benfica left-back Scott Minto. Now listen up. The FIFA World Cup kicks off on Thursday, and talkSPORT are sending you and a mate straight to New York to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. We're talking a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match tickets, spending money, all taken care of. Plus, Adidas is throwing in the official Tron match ball and a fresh pair of boots. Ready to get that winning feeling? Here is how you enter. For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. 8 texts and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. on June 12th. That's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So again, for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now. And we are just 4 days away from the biggest competition in the world of sport.
The same familiar story has come back to haunt England again.
Well, we have now been consistently back in the matches that matter. So it's the last step that we haven't been able to do.
If you don't get the right person in place, I think some of the really good work that Gareth's done could go out the window.
To win it with England, it is a dream come true for me. So if there's still anyone doubting, we have to convince them on the pitch.
Unbelievable!
we have an amazing crop of players.
With England, we've always got a chance.
It's Kane and it's shown!
He is the most important player for sure. Goal scoring is just relentless.
Saka turning it onto his left foot. Oh, it's a beautiful goal.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
We will try to go all the way. We will try to win this tournament.
We're going to win the World Cup, Bex.
Absolutely.
And so to the next instalment of the story.
It's this Thursday then. Mexico v South Africa kicking off the 2026 World Cup. There will be live commentary of talkSPORT on that game. I think we've got quite a good co-commentator, don't we, for that Mexico v South Africa game this Thursday. Yeah. How's your Mexico and South African football knowledge coming along?
Yeah, no, there's still a little bit of research to go, but I'm getting there.
Part of the fun.
I was in Guadalajara not this time last year, last July.
How was it?
Really good. So before I had 5 days there, I actually spent 10 days in a place called Puerto Vallarta, which is on the west coast of Mexico. So stayed there, really nice. Then we went to Guadalajara, where the wife's best friend lives. 5 days there. Last day, I said, I've got to have a photo with the stadium.
Okay.
Wonderful stadium.
And so you were there on holiday with
there on holiday,
yeah. Happy days. Any plans to go back?
In the future, yes, absolutely. But I think we're going to Colombia next year.
Okay, there we go. I mean, if you've got any contacts in Mexico you need, just pick up the phone for any research purposes for this.
Yeah, actually, no, there's a commentator friend of mine who I said, if you need any information, I'll get you some. He texted me when he landed, so I'm going to.
A man with the contacts. I'm at that stage now, Scott, where I'm going through all of the squads of kind of the bigger countries, if you like, and I'm going through every single squad and thinking, oh, they're good.
Yeah,
they could win it.
Have you got the ball chart?
No, not yet. I need to get that because that's an essential. And I've gone through like a dozen teams, maybe eight or so teams, and thought, I like the look of that team. I like the look of that team. There are lots of teams. How's this for a hot take? Who have lots and lots of good players. But is there one team in particular that you do look at 1 to 11 and think they're the team to beat?
Well, I've got to be honest with you, it's not a massive statement you just made there, as we're talking about the World Cup, with lots of teams with lots of good...
That is what I do on this show. I bring the hot take to the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Well, the thing is, it is not just about the 11, because, a team that starts the tournament, I talked about how possibly I wouldn't be averse to start with Morgan Rogers, but I'd like to see Jude Bellingham finishing it, because I think he is a truly world-class player. And I think it's the same for others as well, but... I mean, look, how many do you want to go through? I mean, you went through 12. I wouldn't quite go through that many.
Pick out a couple then that you like.
So, well, obviously, France and Spain are the obvious.
They're the obvious two, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I just need to read out some of the names with France going forward. But I actually will caveat that with, they had similar type players, or certainly very good forward-thinking players in the Euros, and it didn't happen for them. So, but look, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Michael Olise, Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, Ryan Cherky, Marcus Thuram. That's just a few.
I don't think any country should be allowed to have that many good attacking players.
It should be against the law.
Like when Doué is your 6th best attacking player, it's almost like, what is the point?
Mate, it's unbelievable. And obviously, we'll see. Mike Maignan, I think, is a really good goalkeeper. We'll see whether Saliba, the injury problem he's got, I think he's massive for them. I really do. But then you look at Spain, European champions. They were the best team in the tournament by a country mile, and they've just continued on winning. But Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams are not 100% fit at the moment, so they won't start the first few games. But they have got the likes of Pedri, Mikel Oyarzabal as well, who, is more of a goal scorer and done really well for his country than Alvaro Morata. So on paper, they've almost improved with that sort of striker who can score goals. Then you've got Portugal, who don't seem to be talked about by many. And yet, if you look at their midfield, Bruno, Silva, Vitinha, João Neves, Ruben Neves, obviously Ronaldo up front, but I actually think that's where that might be the problem if he's not scoring goals, again, like he didn't in the last tournament. You got Gonzalo Ramos, who I saw a lot for Benfica, but it hasn't really happened for him at PSG. Have they got the players to stick the ball in the back of the net, which seems crazy when you talk about one of the greatest ever, but he's 41 now, so if he scores, if he does well and puts the chances away, then Portugal have got every
chance. Was one of the big things over the Euros a couple of years ago, is you looked at certainly their midfield and wide players, attacking players, and just thought, wow, there was so many to pick from. But it did feel like, and it is all crazy to say this about someone as good as Cristiano Ronaldo, but almost you thought if they maybe had someone who was maybe the bit at the peak of their powers, and maybe a little bit more clinical, and maybe would work harder out of possession, off the ball, they'd have a better chance almost of winning. I mean, there's some people that think that almost Ronaldo at this stage of his career might be holding Portugal back, perhaps.
Yeah, and it's definitely been talked about in Portugal. I talked to people over there, and it's a conversation, but there's no way Roberto Martinez is not going to play him. I mean,
fun though if he did. Imagine that first game of the World Cup. I mean, if Cristiano Ronaldo was on the bench for the first game of the World Cup, how many camera pans to Cristiano Ronaldo sat on the bench with a face like a smack, do you know what, will there be in the first? I reckon it could break. I reckon there might be more time on Ronaldo than on the actual 45 minutes.
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't think he received the phone call that Ivan Toney received to say, are you okay? You're going to be a bit part player and you come on every now and again. So he wouldn't have received that.
How do you think he would have taken that if he did? if he did get that phone call? Do you think it would have been?
I still remember some bad words in Portuguese, and I think a few of those would have come out. I won't say them here, but no. Look, but the thing is, we know he's a clinical striker. So if the ball's put in the right place, watch out for Portugal. People aren't talking about them as much.
How much pressure is on England at this World Cup? And I ask that because clearly England have got some really, really good players. But I thought going back to the Euros 2 years ago, and even the last World Cup 4 years ago, I think we had more players going into those major tournaments in better form at the peak of their powers. And I certainly thought for the Euros 2 years ago, we were going to win it. I almost expected England to win with the great players that we had. Something just maybe doesn't feel right about this England team. Maybe, Thomas Tuchel hasn't quite found his strongest 11 yet. There was a lot of controversy, wasn't there, about some of the players that are not going to it. I think there's also a lot of players in that squad who maybe aren't in the best of form. We talk about Morgan Rogers towards the back end of the season, Bukayo Saka. Almost in a way, could that suit England better? That I don't think there's maybe as much expectation on England at this World Cup as opposed to previous tournaments.
I think you're right. I think the English public are very realistic about how difficult those conditions are. And I was asked on the way up here, actually, how do you think we'll do?
By who?
I was walking the dogs, actually, thinking about it.
Just got stopped in the street?
No.
Does it happen often?
I was walking the dogs, and it was a lovely, lovely old couple who I speak to every now and again, and we stop and we chat, and how do you think we're going to do? And actually, with the World Cup 2022, I thought we could win it. With the Euro 2024 going into it, I thought we could win it. Going into this one, I've got no idea. And the reason I've got no idea is some of the reasons that you just mentioned there. But the heat, humidity, if we get to the last 16, if everything goes to where we think it could, we'll be playing Mexico in Mexico City. There's not just the heat and humidity, there's the altitude there. And I'll name drop again. Graham Souness once told me that in 86, that he was captain of Scotland. And he said, your body either is okay with it, struggles with it, or you're just dead. And he said, my body, I was gone. I couldn't handle the altitude. So that's in the round of 16. And then it could be Brazil or maybe Portugal or Argentina in the semi-finals. But if we get past a couple of those, then we could go all the way. So my point is, potentially we could win it. Of course, we are one of the teams that could win it.
Do you think England had the most pressure on them, though, given the fact that it has been such a long wait for that second major trophy?
I think for the reasons we've just given, I don't necessarily think the England team is under the amount of pressure that perhaps the Gareth Southgate was of the last two tournaments. What I do think is Thomas Tuchel is under pressure because he was brought in to win a trophy. Everything, what Gareth did, I think, was really, really good. But the argument was, and I understand it, that he wasn't able to change games. And especially in that final against Italy, I totally agree with it, that actually it was slipping away from us before that we even conceded, and he didn't do anything about it. Thomas Tuchel will. But he's brought in, even if he gets to the final, my argument would be, well, Gareth got us to a Euro final, but not a World Cup final. So you could argue in a way that's progression. But there will be people saying, no. Quarterfinal, semi-final, two finals. The next thing is to win it. And that's why he has been brought in. That's why we've got another foreign manager. That's why he's on the money that he's on, to actually win the trophy. I personally think it's going to be very difficult for us to do it. And I think in 2 years' time in the Euros over here is our better chance. But then I talk again about Harry Kane needs to be bang on it if we are to win the World Cup. Where will Harry Kane be physically in 2 years' time? So you just think about the tournament now.
Can you please just read out France's front six again? Have you got it to hand? Can you just do it one more time for me, please?
Okay.
Because I had a list of reasons why I didn't think England were going to win the World Cup. And then throw me those six names again.
So Kylian Mbappe.
Yep.
Ousmane Dembele.
Good.
Michael Olise. Desiree Doué.
Another good player.
Bradley Barcola.
He's good.
Ryan Cherky.
Yeah.
and Marcus Thuram.
Yeah,
we didn't mention Jean-Philippe Mateta, of course, as well.
No.
And Akliouche.
Yep, Akliouche, yeah. I mean, when Ryan Cherky is like the 6th best attacking player.
Well, I haven't put it in order of importance.
No, but I think you might be right, though. I mean, Ryan Cherky is really good at football, but he might literally still be their 5th or 6th best attacking player. Okay, going to add that then. France have got lots of good attacking players. That's not good, is it?
But they maybe 2 years ago.
And they still did. Yeah, I remember 4 years ago being in the World Cup final. I was lucky enough to be there in that France-Argentina game, and that's
got to be the greatest World Cup final ever.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, and certainly in my lifetime. I mean, to be there for that and watch you go to penalties and watch Messi win the World Cup and see Mbappe score that hat-trick, it was absolutely remarkable. Scott, next on the Sunday session, we're talking Liverpool and their new man, Andoni Iraola, is at their helm. What is Scott expecting from Liverpool next season? If you want to get involved in any of the conversation today, 03717 22 3344. Up next, we're talking Liverpool.
When you get these Arsenal fans ranting and raving and saying some of the things that they do, and then you get this nitwit over here popping up with his little brand of observation in social media.
What, Piers?
Yeah.
Little brand of 9 million followers.
Whatever, how many followers you've got, Piers.
Well, a lot more than you, Sancho.
Fantastic, but I don't judge my
work
work
by
that.
Little brand.
But I don't judge myself by those numbers.
This is a little brand. My YouTube channel is 4.5 million subscribers.
I'm delighted.
I have 9 million followers on X. So when I say something to 9 million
delighted.
people, I'm saying it to a lot more millions than you.
I'm delighted.
No, but it's not a little brand. I'm not a little nitwit.
No, I'm delighted.
You may not like what I say.
I'm delighted.
But the platform I have is infinitesimally bigger than yours.
I'm delighted. You've pivoted into the digital world and hung on by your fingertips, right? But the bottom line is I'm looking at the content. I'm looking at the content, and you're asking me why.
Yes.
People are reacting negatively to what's being said. So I floated the idea without a great deal of commitment to it that silly comments that are antagonistic made by nitwits like him with big audiences.
What silly
Is
comment?
that better?
Well, give me a silly
Well,
comment.
I don't know. I don't study your feed, but every now and again
give me one example.
You pop up with observations
Well, give
about
me one
Arsenal
that's silly.
inflammatory. I don't know. I can look through it in a second.
Exactly. You can't think of one. You just said it.
Every now and again.
You just literally said that, and you can't tell me a single thing I've said,
every now and
which is
again,
silly.
I see you make an
Well, give
observation.
me one.
Well, I'll find one in a second.
You can't, can you?
Because I don't
You've
write them
literally
down.
just made that up.
Because I don't write
You've
them
made
down.
that up.
Right.
You just said he says all these silly things. When I've said name one silly thing,
No, there's lots
you
of them.
can't name
I can
one.
probably,
Not one.
I can probably
Oh,
dig
give me
into
one.
I will do in a second.
You can't, can you?
I can probably do it.
You've
I can go
literally.
Nothing if your heart didn't dream with me. Where would I be if you didn't believe?
The
Sunday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto. It sounds of the weekend. Our story is the England camp vowing to take care of Eza after the penalty missed, and Real Madrid candidates promise crazy signings. The MJ Classic don't stop to get enough. Thank you very much, Tim, the Wolves fan. Did you know song that first song, by the way?
No, go on.
No, it was Justin Bieber with Believe. No, I genuinely am a big Bieber fan. I've never heard of that song once for my life. No. So I'm a little bit, Justin Bieber, Believe. Hey, maybe I'll give that a listen on the way home. Keep the song suggestions coming in on 81089. A busy day then going on in the world of sport. Alexander Zverev has taken the first set in the French Open final against Caboli, winning that 6-2. He's chasing his first, both players are chasing their first major title. Alexander Zverev has been to 3 finals before, lost all 3 of them. Caboli had never gone beyond the Paris third round until this year. He's the 10th seed and has never been past the quarters at Slam. He's done so well to get to the final, but Zverev has won the first set over at the French Open. England beat New Zealand in the first test match earlier on today, their first test victory since the Ashes, and it is also the small matter of probably the most popular race on the F1 circuit. It is the Monaco Grand Prix, and Tom Clayton has got the legs for us. Tom, how's it going over there?
Yeah, lap number 60, and while there hasn't been an awful lot of action in this Grand Prix, you have to take your hats off to one Kimi Antonelli, 19 years old, on the hunt for his 5th race win in a row, leading this by 30 seconds. He's lapped everyone in the field up to 4th. That includes his teammate. It has been an astonishing drive. Although as soon as I say that, there's not been much action. With 18 laps to go, someone's just parked it in the wall. Lance Stroll at the last corner has just gone straight on into the wall, and a safety car has just been called out. And that might just put the cat among the pigeons for the final few laps of this. Remember, Lewis Hamilton in second has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. His teammate Charles Leclerc in 3rd place, and George Russell and everyone else on the grid will be allowed to unlap themselves during this period. But Kimi Antonelli leads. His lead was at 40 seconds at one point this afternoon. 40, which is nothing short of remarkable. That's going to be cut down with this safety car. So interesting final 17 laps to come at Monaco.
Tom, Antonelli won 4 successive races to establish a 43-point lead over his teammate George Russell going into this race. Maybe some of our listeners, maybe some of the more sort of casual F1 fans won't be too familiar with his name. Tell us a little bit more about him and sort of his journey to this point where he's a young man, and he's the man to beat in F1 at the moment.
He is indeed, and it tells you an awful lot that back when Lewis Hamilton was hinting that he was going to leave Mercedes, the first thing that Toto Wolff, who's the team principal at Mercedes, did was call up Kimi Antonelli and say, I want you in the main team. A lot of young drivers don't get that opportunity straight away. They usually go into a team that's, one of the junior teams on the grid. For example, Williams is a customer of Mercedes in terms of their engines, so a lot of the time Mercedes will get a junior driver of theirs into the Williams for a discount for Williams on their engines. So Antonelli went straight into the main team, and last year he showed flashes, he showed sort of intrigue. There were moments where we thought, oh, this guy might be quite good. But in actual fact, what's happened is he has gotten into this car this year. When all the chips were pointing towards George Russell to be the main protagonist, when we all knew that Mercedes were probably going to be at the front of the grid, Antonelli has absolutely blown him out of the water. And, I mean, the car is very good, don't get me wrong, but he has been sensational. The way he's driven has been brilliant. So, yeah, as I say, he's heading for his 5th consecutive Grand Prix win of the season. He's only not won one race so far this year, which was the opening round in Australia. And yeah, as I say, he's the 5th on the list of the most winningest Italian drivers in Formula One history already, which tells you an awful lot. Italy has such a history with this sport. I mean, we'll see what happens when we come to the end of the safety car period. We've got about 16 laps to go. And to only in your second season win the Monaco Grand Prix is sensational.
It's remarkable. Talking of sensational, Kim Kardashian, she's there. She's living her best life. Have you spotted any other sort of celebs over in the F1 Grand Prix? Who else is there apart from Kim?
There's been a couple. Cynthia Erivo of Wicked Fame is on the grid. Also, saw Morgan Gibbs-White on the pre-race
okay, that's cool.
grid walk. And
Curtis Jones, I think I saw there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was going to say about Morgan Gibbs-White. Martin Brundle, one of the Sky commentators, went up to him and said, "Who do you think's going to win the World Cup?" And he got blanked. So I'll leave that one to you.
Oh, Tom, thank you very much. You think he's still a little bit gutted, Scott, about not making that one?
No, I listened to him in an interview, and I thought he was very, very gracious. I thought he spoke really, really well, and he absolutely could be one of those in terms of the forward players. We spoke about Lewis Hall and Harry Maguire, but Morgan Gibbs-White, as much as I love Cole Palmer, hasn't had the best of seasons, and he can definitely count himself unlucky.
I think you could ask 100 people about players not in that World Cup squad, and you could probably have 6 to 8 different names of you want Palmer. But I think the one that I felt most sorry for, I would have picked Cole Palmer if it was me.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't necessarily feel sorry for Cole Palmer.
No.
He wasn't in great form. But in terms of players being in form, Morgan Gibbs-White was I think he was the most informed player that didn't make that World Cup squad, and that's why I felt more sorry for him than I would have done other players that didn't make the squad.
Do you know what? You're absolutely spot on.
A broken clock is right twice against Scotty Minto. There we go. Did you hear that, Anil? Can we get that clipped up, please? It's my birthday, after all.
Well, do you know what? He had obviously that head injury where I didn't think he needed to come on anyway at Stamford Bridge, so he missed the second leg of the Europa League semi-final, and I think the reason why I think he, and even along the likes of Bruno Fernandes, on a completely different level, when you're playing in a struggling team where there's so much pressure and yet you're the standout player there, I think you've got to give so much credence to him. And Morgan Gibbs-White, I agree with you. I felt really sorry for him. I just still feel that Cole Palmer, if you're in a quarter-final, semi-final, even in the final, and we've seen him do it before, who is capable of coming up with the moment of brilliance? And I still think Cole Palmer is.
And again, that's also why I'm very much in the camp that Trent Alexander-Arnold should have gone to the World Cup as well. More than happy for Reece James to be first choice. Right back, he's certainly a bit more reliable defensively. But I'm always imagining a situation where we are in the last 16, the quarterfinals. We're losing a game by a goal to nil. We're struggling to break down a team. No creativity to be able to bring off the bench a player of Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability. We all know how good he is at passing those diagonal balls, those through balls, those crosses. I think he is too good offensively, Trent, to have not made a 26-man England squad.
Yeah, which tells me that I don't think it was purely on the pitch. I mean, there's rumours between him and Jude Bellingham. They're such good mates. Sometimes they just go off, and I'm a bit like, well, can't between the three of you sort that out?
Sorry, you've just gone. There's rumours that Trent and Bellingham are I think that's just a fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think almost a little bit too close, maybe, Scott? Is that what you're hearing? Is this a talkSPORT exclusive?
No, clearly they're really good mates. And when you're away for a period of time, of course you're aligned towards the person you're closest to, and you spend most time. But from a football point of view, again, is that the second time you're right today then? Because I think you're absolutely spot on with 10, 15 minutes to go. Yes, we've got lots of tricky players and players who can do a little bit of skill and maybe put that 10, 15-yard threaded through ball. But Trent can not necessarily the skillful one, but that passing, I don't think there's a better passer in England. So for him to not be in the squad where, if we've got that game where, was it Slovakia?
Yeah.
Minutes to go and you need someone on the pitch to go forward because they're just defending deep, then he's that person you want on the ball as much as possible. So, yeah, it was never going to happen, though, you can see from a long
Imagine
way.
a year ago if someone told me that Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold all wouldn't make a 26-man England squad. I wouldn't have believed you. England beat New Zealand last night in football. England beat New Zealand today in the world of cricket. I was at Lord's for the first 3 days covering the game for talkSPORT, which I really, really enjoyed. I love my cricket, but yesterday was nothing short of an absolute disgrace. It was raining in the morning, so we didn't start at 11 o'clock. It got to 12 o'clock. It was bright sunshine. They then decided to wait 20 minutes, take lunch at 12:20 to 1 o'clock. So we basically had an hour spell where people are just sitting, watching the players warm up in the sunshine, an absolute farce. We then started at 1 o'clock, and obviously it started raining again. But I'm thinking, cricket is the only sport where, literally it would be sunny, you can play, and everyone is just sat there on their hands thinking, what on earth is going on? I'm thinking to myself, how on earth did this make any sense? The 1 hour we had yesterday where it was actually sunshine, the players just weren't out there playing. Absolutely remarkable. Well, they would have probably had to have said that they've had to have cleared the outfield and stuff, and they did need to take lunch for the players to have lunch. But the joke of it was
they didn't have enough breakfast.
They could have just taken a slightly earlier lunch or a shorter lunch. So hot take, when it's sunny, the players could have been playing out there. Anyway, it was an absolute farce. I'm going to just calm down for a second, and then when we come back, we will go into a bit more detail on England against New Zealand. England's first test match since the Ashes, and they are back to winning ways.
Absolute wet wipes. The lot of yous. Absolute wet wipes. Wow. Oh, he wore a PSG top. Oh, he jumped around. Do you know what? If it happened again tomorrow, I would do it again tomorrow. Wow. Up the Chelsea. Here we go. There she There she is. Look at that. Wow. Look at that bad boy.
He took it too far, Dino. He took it too far. He took it too far. Up the PSG. Up the PSG. Up the Champions League. Up the Chelsea. Oh, come there, you legend. We absolutely love you. Everyone loves you. Sports Bar loves you. The people love you. The Arsenal fans hate you. But who cares? Who cares? You've done it for everyone. Apart from that Chelsea lot. Apart from that Arsenal lot. Eh? Up the Champions League. And Arsenal absolutely bottled it. They bottled it. And I was so glad that he done what he done. And he took it too far.
Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
We go straight to the Grand Prix over in Monaco. Tom Clayton, what's happened?
Well, lap number 67, last time you came to me, it was a safety car. Well, since then, the safety car ended, and on the restart, Charles Leclerc from third place put it straight into the barriers because he had a brake failure, and that's brought out another safety car. But that means Charles Leclerc, at his home Grand Prix, maybe the most prestigious of the year, has stuffed it in the barriers towards the end of the Grand Prix from third place. He's out, he's in the garage, he's absolutely devastated. Kimi Antonelli leads with around 10 laps to go from Hamilton, and now Isaac Hadjar, the second Red Bull, is in third place. 10 to go, high drama in Monaco.
Tom Clayton, thank you very, very much. I'm upset he just didn't get the word winniest into that. I'll tell you, he did in the previous one, and someone has texted in saying, I don't think winniest is a word. What journalist school did Tom go to?
Bang out.
Hey, listen, we've all been there, haven't we? But Tom Clayton, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Back to you very, very shortly at the Monaco Grand Prix. It is all going on. Good work, Tom Clayton. In the French Open finals, Zverev's he won the first set 6-1 against Koboli. It's 3-3 in the second set. Zverev very much the favourite to finally land the major title. He has long been predicted to win. He's lost 3 previous Grand Slam finals. And how about this? Whoever wins today, Scott, in the tennis, will become the first-time major champion since Yannick Sinner in the 2024 Aussie Open. That kind of almost shows in the last couple of
dominance
years
of those two,
just how much kind of the two guys mainly, Alcaraz and Sinner, have just dominated. Obviously, Alcaraz wasn't there in this tournament. He had an injury. But I think when Sinner went early, I think everyone kind of really, really perked up and thought it's now open. So I think good for the sport that we can have a new major winner for the first time.
Well, what do I know? Because when I heard that Alcaraz wasn't going to be in there, I thought, it's there for Sinner. He's done it.
Yeah.
And yet, he couldn't handle the heat, which, it's fair. There's a lot of people out there who can't. But I was surprised him getting defeated. And it's almost like you want those great rivalries. I remember, obviously, the Borg and McEnroe back in the day, and there's been plenty more up until more recently involving Djokovic and Federer and Nadal, of course. So if those two were going to go to the final, I think you're going to get a great final. If one of them's not there, you kind of want the other one to come out, which is exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think good for the sport. And as much as we love an Alcaraz in the final, and we're going to see many more to come, I think good for the sport that we have got 2 new guys going for a first major. Zverev winning that first set. In the world of cricket, England took less than a session on the 4th day of the first test against New Zealand to begin their post-Ashes rebuild with a much-needed victory in their first test since their 4-1 defeat in Australia. England beat the tourists by 115 runs to take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series from 55 for 5 overnight in the chase of 254. New Zealand's disappointing week was complete when they were bowled out in the end for 138, thanks mainly to Gus Atkinson's 5 for 30. talkSPORT reporter Will Hobbs was covering today's action for talkSPORT at Lords. Will, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, Sam. Yeah, very good, thank you.
How did England go about then their pursuit of chasing down those final 5 wickets today? I mean, I think Glenn Phillips hung around, didn't he? But in the end, was it a fairly comfortable morning session for England?
Absolutely. I mean, Josh Tongue struck within 4 balls, second over of the day. His 4th ball, he dismissed Tom Blunder with one of those nip backers off the pitch. And then, as you say, Glenn Phillips and Devon Conway really applied themselves. Glenn Phillips came in, missed the first couple, just started laughing. And then he produced a couple of beautifully punchy cover drives through square of the wicket, and they raced away. And he was looking quite sketchy, but also quite brilliant in a weird sort of way. It was one of those days where there's a ball with your name on it. So if it is there to hit, you've got to throw your hands at it. And the big wicket came when Stokes got rid of Conway. He tried to flick one off his legs, completely misjudged it. Outside edge to Bethel at gully, really good low catch. That was probably the definitive difference between England and New Zealand. New Zealand usually very good at catching. They dropped some sitters in this test. And with the pitch, the pudding as it was, both bowling attacks really shone, but England held their chances when it mattered. So the Conway catch was a big one, and then the floodgates opened really, and England rattled through. Gus Atkinson getting in on the act with the fifer. So I think the big question is, if Jofra Archer is to get back in this team for the Oval, which will probably be a better batting pitch, who gets out?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Ollie Robertson got, man of the match, didn't he? Career best figures of 7 for 77. I was there on day 1 when he took that triple wicket maiden, Will. And sport's funny sometimes, isn't it? That, he spends 2.5 years away from the test team. It looks like he's never going to get back because of, off-field problems, his attitude, his commitment. They kind of call him back up, and then he gets that triple wicket made. And I think that moment, that over, those 6 balls, I think are 6 balls that we'll never forget. Being there at Lords, so that intensity, that excitement, him charging in, I thought was a special over that, T20 cricket, 50 over cricket, they can't produce those kind of moments, can they?
No, absolutely not. It was the perfect test match for Ollie Robinson to come back in. I mean, Brendan McCullum made a lot of the fact that he's a much better bowler when he bowls 82, 83 miles an hour. He sort of averaged 79 this test match, and it really didn't matter. And ironically, that's what England were missing in Australia, because they went for pace. Steve Smith said they picked a bowling attack for an Ashes 10 years previously rather than an Ashes for 2025. And then Australia, the way they nullified Bazball was they had the keeper up, and they had guys like Michael Neser and Scott Boland bowling Ollie Robinson type delivery. So it'd be interesting to see going forward longer term what sort of role Ollie Robinson plays. But we know his ceiling is world class, Ollie Robinson. His average is phenomenal. His strike rate, I think, is the best. I think his strike rate is better than Fred Truman's. I think it's the best since World War One. So we know how good he is, and to see him fit and firing, to see his head in the right place for Test cricket, it can take England leaps and bounds, I think.
Well said. I know your day's work has been done, Will. And are you in a beer garden out of interest? Just out of curiosity, it looks like you're in a beer garden. You've just pulled away for a brief 5 minutes.
I was playing five-a-side football in a park. I got a call from Harj, our assistant producer. He's like, onto the Zoom. I'm on the side of a road, and there are chairs. Someone's getting rid of their chairs on Balham High Road.
Yeah.
Well, they've just put some 2 chairs outside the house, so I'm on the chairs.
Producer Neil said commitment from you. I would also just point out that his day's work of the cricket lasted an hour and a half this morning, didn't it? Not 7, 8, 9 hours like a normal. Not that it's your fault, by the way, Will. Will, lots of talk over the last couple of days has been about the pitch. For those that haven't seen much of the cricket, essentially, to try and dumb it down, there wasn't much bounce in the pitch, Scott. I mean, there was a Jacob Bethel wicket on day 2, where essentially the ball didn't really get off the ground. Like, it kept that low. And that's not good cricket, and the ball's barely getting to the stumps.
Especially on day 2.
Exactly, especially on day 2. It even happened on day 1. Now, the MCC chief executive, Rob Lawson, they've just released a statement saying, we recognise that the pitch for this test has shown more variable bounce than we would have wanted. We hold ourselves to the highest standards and are naturally frustrated when a surface falls short of those expectations. MCC invests significantly each year in the preparation of the main square at Lords, as well in the research, technology and expertise aimed at producing pitches that provide a fair contest between bat and ball. The unusually hot and dry weather during May, followed by wetter conditions in the lead up to the match, presented a number of challenges in preparing the pitch. Well, it was... look, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't good. You get to a test match, first test match of the summer at Lords, 150th test match, and you get to day 1, you get to day 2, and balls are barely getting off the surface. I don't think it was a particularly good look for test cricket.
No, the length of the match was almost done a favour by the fact that there was a day gone of rain, because really it was a 2-day test like the ones we saw in the Ashes. And obviously the Ashes wasn't really down to a bad pitch, although the pitches did plenty in the Ashes. It was more down to terrible batting. But no, you don't want to see that. I mean, especially the grubbers, when they go under the bat so regularly and the ball's hitting the stumps. I mean, every bowler looked like an absolute worldie of a bowler, to be honest. The amount of
Scott Minto would have taken a 5 on that deck, Will Laws. I'm telling you. A couple of right arm mediums, you absolute beauty, Scott.
I was more of a batsman, so I would have been out for the first ball in that hat trick for sure.
Yeah, I could see Scott Minto from the nursery end just angling in one end away to trim the bales. Absolutely. I think anyone would have done well. But yeah, Ollie Robinson, a good boost for him, for sure.
Will, just want to ask you about obviously the criticism that England have had with Bazball and how bad it was in the Ashes as well, and how the style was going to be in this particular time. Could we tell if there's any way of a different style because of the way the conditions and the pitch were?
Don't think we could, really. I think the one sort of big difference selection-wise when it comes to Bazball, Scott, was the opening batsman, Emilio Gay. And he's not going to have too many tougher test matches when it comes to conditions. I mean, he did get dropped a couple of times on his way to 57, but the way he applied himself, the way he drove down the ground, the way he was disciplined, and the way he was so relaxed on debut as well. I think he's the first England debutant to open the batting and get a half-century since Andrew Strauss. So that's a big boost for Bazball, because Bazball's a lot about tone setting from the off. And if you've got a guy like Emilio Gay, who's relaxed and who's quite not conservative with his wicket, but more responsible, but also can play attacking shots, I think he probably embodies the slight evolution of what we might see from Bazball. But in short, there's a lot of waffle in that answer. In short, no, we don't know if they've evolved just yet.
We saw Ben Duckett leave a couple of balls on day 1 of the first test match. And when Ben Duckett's leaving balls in a test match, maybe there has just been a slight change of approach. Will, thank you very much. Good work. Enjoy the rest of your 5-a-side game.
Cheers, Sam. It's half time, so I'm glad a good rest.
God, that is commitment, dedication, isn't it? Sorry, lads. I'll be back in a few minutes. Got to go chat to Scott and Sam on talk.
I reckon he's told him to do a drinks break.
Yeah, drinks break. Yeah, the heat in London.
Wait till I come back
today.
Yeah.
The following on podcast is available on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. If you like your cricket, daily content on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel with John Norman, Steve Harmison, and the team. We go back to the Monaco Grand Prix. Tom Clayton, it's all happening.
It is indeed. Well, you say it's all happening. Not much is happening at all at the moment because we're actually under red flag conditions. What is happening is an investigation into the surface at the final corner where we've seen 2 cars crash in the last couple of laps that have caused safety cars because the tarmac is coming apart and tearing up on the circuit. It's causing debris to get on the tyres, and it's effectively causing the cars not to be able to turn going into the last corner. There's a big, massive concrete barrier going into there as well, so it's a real safety hazard. So I think they're just investigating whether they are going to be able to restart this race. There's 10 laps to go. At the moment, Charles Leclerc unfortunately was caught out by that. We're just seeing the pictures of it now, and that tarmac is really coming apart. It's a real safety issue. I mean, we've been talking about the pitch at the cricket. We've been talking about the pitch in Florida as well. I mean, the pitch here, so to speak, is really not in good condition at that last corner, and that's a slow speed corner. As I say, the barriers are so close to where the cars are going through. It becomes a safety issue then. So they're going to be, I think they're going to make a decision as to whether they can restart this or not. I mean, up to this point, it's been a fairly uneventful Grand Prix, but the heat in Monaco and the humidity is causing that tarmac, and also the use by the actual cars itself. I wonder here, we're seeing now the head steward go down there to have a look at what's happening, and there's a clear groove at where the tarmac has come up over this long period of time. So I wonder if they're going to call this race off with 10 laps to go.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. Be back with you very, very shortly. And if there are any updates on what's happening in the Monaco Grand Prix, we'll keep you informed. In the tennis French Open final, Zverev took the first set against Kaboli 6-1. But Kaboli has broken in the second, so it's 5-3 Kaboli. Zverev is serving. Kaboli will get a chance to make it 1-1 in sets on his serve. Next on the Sunday session, we're bringing you some peculiar stories from the past week as Stranger Things returns.
Perez, for his part, has promised he'll appoint Jose Mourinho as manager if he's elected.
She's done it, already.
Well, that's what he wants to do, but he's got to get elected to make it official. Riquelme, meantime, for his part, is saying no to Mourinho. He's promised to make Madrid legend Raúl his sporting director and will not appoint Mourinho. He says, if I win the elections, I will bring to Real Madrid a superstar manager, the biggest manager you can imagine. Jose Mourinho is not that manager. He promised also, and this is where it gets interesting, to sign Manchester City midfielder Rodri, as well as Erling Haaland, and then held up a Madrid shirt with Haaland's name on the back of it. And one would think that Manchester City are none too happy about that. Is it arrogant in a presidential race like this for one of the hopefuls to promise something that he doesn't really know if he can deliver?
Well, it's like any manufacturer.
Just call my name and I'll be there. And I'll be there to come. Money, must be funny.
2 songs played on Sounds of the Weekend, and I know both these songs. Remarkable
Well
stuff,
done.
really.
Well, to be
I feel
fair,
like I'm learning.
You
And
weren't born when these songs came out. So
what?
You weren't born.
No, but I mean,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
well done for knowing.
Now I'm in my 30s. I feel like I need
Go on
to,
then.
you know, what?
Who are they?
Who are these?
Yeah.
Oh, the Jackson 5, I'll be there. Thanks, Steve, the Chelsea fan. And ABBA, Money, Money, Money by Mark, the Norwich fan. Sounds of the
good.
Weekend, texting songs in 1889. The stories are the England camp vowing to take care of Eza, hence the I'll be there from Jackson 5. And the Real Madrid candidates promise crazy signings. They basically want to sign every single good player that exists. Money, money, money. Thank you, Mark, the Norwich fan. Now it's time for this.
Stranger Things on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Now we start Stranger Things this week with a story you don't expect to hear. Less than a week away from a World Cup, it was revealed this week that Japan have abandoned their training base in Mexico after deciding the facilities simply weren't up to scratch ahead of the tournament. The training complex reportedly left players and staff unimpressed with complaints about uneven surfaces and large patches of dirt. Pictures of the turf have since gone viral online, with fans stunned that a World Cup bound nation was preparing on a pitch that looked more Sunday League than the world's biggest football tournament. Not the most ideal preparation for Japan. I have seen some of the pictures.
Have you?
And yet it does look a little bit Sunday League. Like, imagine turning up a Sunday League game in the winter, Sunday morning, and the pitch wasn't very flat, let's put it that way.
Do you know what? It's unlike the Japanese as well, because they're normally so polite. I mean, I bet they left everything really clean and tidy, but they just said, "Excuse me, sir, we're not staying here." Just a quick one on the pitch. And
good insight there from Scott Minto on the Japanese people. I liked it. You are a cultural man, aren't you?
No, I'm definitely not. But one thing I'm going to name drop here again, if you don't mind.
Please do. It's good.
Just when you talk about Mexico and the pitches and that. So Glenn Hoddle told me he obviously played in the game, Hand of God, and that goal as well, the second one. He said, you know what? He said it wasn't just the heat. It wasn't just the heat and humidity. He said it was the heat, humidity, and altitude. He said, but it actually wasn't just that. He said, if you'd have looked at the pitch before the game, the day before the game, he said there was like clumps of dirt, and then clumps of grass and clumps of dirt and clumps of grass. He said it was like playing down Hackney Marshes. So they actually spray painted some of the pitch to make everything look green.
Really?
So for Diego Maradona to come out with a goal like that, I mean, I personally think it's the greatest goal ever scored when you take everything like that into consideration.
Scott, was there a time where you were playing, I don't know, in a cup game away from home against a lower league team, but any game, any match, any training base you went to, and, you thought to yourself, oh, God, this is not the one?
Oh, back in the day, I'm sure there would have been lots. I mean, actually, Charlton's training grounds in the late 80s was really good. But when you'd go to play in some games and the pitches would be shocking. You only have to look at some of the even Stamford Bridge in the 90s was. I remember looking at a goal that Ruud Gullit scored, and it was like top corner. But you're thinking, how on earth did we play on that back in the day? When you look at those pitches now, and this is Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. So yeah, there were plenty of pitches back in the day.
Were you a moaner, or were you a good man?
No, I just listen. Just concentrate on your game. I didn't know your place.
Know your place. Taking one game at a time.
No one's going to listen to me.
No, I love. I'm enjoying listening to you.
And control the controllables. I'm a great believer in that.
Control the controllables. Don't. No so basically, Japan, stop moaning. Control you control.
No, that's not what I said.
Get on with it.
That's not what I said. Sticking with the World Cup, this is something straight out of a sci-fi film. Robot security dogs will be on patrol during the tournament, helping protect FIFA's broadcast headquarters in Dallas. You know what? Alex Crook's going to be out in Dallas. I wonder if he's going to get one of them to...
Please, whoever's doing the talkSPORT social media, if Crookie gets attacked by a robot security dog, we need that in vision.
That's going to be so funny. The four-legged machines built by Hyundai come equipped with cameras in their eyes and have already been spotted patrolling the site and even showing off a few dance moves.
Oh, they dance too.
FIFA president Gianni Infantino, actually, he would be my number one over cricket, who they could perhaps just attack, was left impressed by the futuristic tech which will keep things secure as football's biggest show gets underway.
We're fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Now we've got the robot security dogs, and absolutely nothing.
VAR's controlling them, though. That's the only problem.
Oh, well, in that case, everything's going to go wrong, and they're going to get every single decision wrong, and it's going to take them 8 minutes to get there as well. There we go. Do you like sci-fi movies?
Yeah.
Oh, not for me, mate.
You're not?
No, I like a lot of TV. I like comedies, rom-coms, sort of crime dramas. Sci-fi's not
I
for me.
prefer thrillers.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. Okay, next up, a painful one from a World Cup launch event in Australia. The former Man United goalkeeper Mark Bosnich has been taken to hospital after rupturing his quadriceps while saving a penalty in a celebrity shootout. Bozzy, the 54-year-old, immediately went down in agony after pulling off the stop, with some guests initially thinking he was joking about the injury. Unfortunately for Bosnich, no prank at all. He's now set to undergo surgery, although the former Premier League winner says, you know what, I'm going to be all right. You know what a good sport Mark Bosnich is. He goes down there, an event in Australia. Everyone's looking forward to the World Cup. He probably pulls off a simple routine dive that he's done a million times in his life. And next thing you know, he's having surgery.
Do you know what? Top keeper. And I love listening to him as well. He comes on talkSPORT every now and again, doesn't he? He's really, obviously, top keeper with Man U and Chelsea and Villa, amongst others. But I'm 54.
Yeah.
How on earth, diving for a ball, has he pulled his muscle and now needs surgery?
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine. I mean, how late, how quick, and how much did he stretch to try and get to the ball? I mean, also, good, fair play to him. You think, a sort of an event, a launch event, where you got to save a penalty. You could just stick out a left leg and hope for the best. Like,
he probably did.
Maybe that's how he pulled it. Like, you don't have to sort of give it the big one. But fair play to Bosnich.
Yeah, and I don't know him, but I can just imagine him saying, "I'll be all right."
Yeah. What's the most peculiar injury you've ever had?
Ooh, peculiar.
Good timing on the music, by the way.
Yeah, very good.
This better be really peculiar, please.
No, it's not peculiar at all. I had a sort of chronic Achilles injury off and on for about 10 years, and getting up in the morning, couldn't walk. So then you'd have to just be on the stairs, bouncing up and down for 10 minutes before you even did anything.
But nothing at the training?
No. There was that Rio Ferdinand one, wasn't there, where he done the back of his knee, because he put his leg up watching TV and he was watching a film for too long, and as soon as he put it down, he did his ligaments.
Yeah, that is... Imagine telling the gaffer that the next day in training. Yeah, sorry, I got really excited by this movie. I can't move my leg.
It wasn't sci-fi.
I can't play... Yeah, I bet it wasn't sci-fi. I can't move for the next couple of months. Scott, what have we got next?
Yeah, finally, one of the strangest football moments you'll see this week. A match in Ecuador was briefly stopped after a player was accidentally wiped out by a medical car that was carrying an injured teammate off the pitch. Midfielder Edison Caicedo wandered straight into the path of the vehicle while chatting to a coach on the touchline, sending himself sprawling to the floor. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously hurt and he was able to carry on, but fans online were left wondering how on earth a player had managed to get tackled by the medical transport.
I'm just watching a video of it. To be fair, it's not really his fault. He's not even looking at the vehicle, and the vehicle kind of takes him out, kind of towards the side. But what's brilliant about it, it doesn't really it doesn't go into him quite quickly.
Right.
But he rolls around on the floor like he's just been taken out, and is he trying to
expected a sending off?
Is he trying to get the medical cart booked or sent off? Is he trying to get that to go to VAR? But I've seen loads of those videos where guys are taking guys off on stretchers and they're falling over and stuff like that.
Just wondered if my missus was driving that. Only joking, darling, only joking.
Is she? Are you a good driver?
Well, I'm not going to say no, am I?
No?
I think I'm a good driver.
Okay, good.
No, she is a very good driver, I have to say.
Imagine that, though, if you're... we hope Edison Caicedo is okay, but imagine building up to a World Cup for years and years, and you're playing in a warm-up match, and some idiot in a cart takes you out, and that's your World Cup.
And you could have been out for a couple of months.
Yeah, anyway. We hope he's okay. We think he is okay. Those were Stranger Things. Coming up next on the Sunday session, we'll bring you the latest from the Monaco Grand Prix. Stopped at the moment. The red flag has gone up. We'll tell you why in a couple of minutes' time. And up next, we'll be asking, besides Arsenal, which Premier League club right now is the most attractive project to join? This is the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Crookie, what about Ellie Anderson? We're led to believe that opening bid from City has been knocked back from Forest. Is it just a case of a matter of time, this one getting over the line?
I think so, and again, no surprise that City have tried to make their move early. We were told at talkSPORT a couple of weeks ago that in an ideal world, Elliot Anderson's future would be sorted before he kicks his first ball for England at the World Cup. Obviously, City are trying to get this one done. We know that Evangelos Marinakis can be a difficult negotiator. Just ask Tottenham and Morgan Gibbs-White from this time last year. But all the information I have is that City have always been Elliot Anderson's preferred choice, despite the fact there's also interest from Manchester United. This is a deal I do expect to happen. And again, it comes back to what we said at the start of the section. Real Madrid and Rodri, if they get Elliot Anderson in, could the time be right to cash in on Rodri, who clearly hasn't been the same player since returning from injury as he was before?
Crookie, I've got some breaking news. I've heard from my sources at Aston Villa that Morgan Rogers, he stayed.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic three-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower and Neil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time. What a volley! What a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
It is the Sunday session. We are live on the world's biggest sports radio station, talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard of the 1997 FA Cup winner, Scott Minto. The Monaco Grand Prix resuming at 4:12. Back to Tom Clayton very, very shortly. The French Open final, 1-set all between Koboli and Zverev. And England took less than a session on the fourth day of the first test against New Zealand to begin their post-Ashes rebuild with a much-needed victory. We can also confirm that the Arsenal players, who were obviously playing in the Champions League final last weekend, have arrived stateside to join the England camp. So Thomas Tuchel will now have the full squad raring to go ahead of the World Cup. I wonder if any of them will be available for the game on Wednesday, maybe play half an hour or so. But just sticking with Arsenal, I think it's fair to say that Arsenal...
Sorry, Sam, can I just...
You jump in. Sorry, Scott. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, mate.
That was rude of me, wasn't it? Midway through
not
the
at
show?
all. Not at all.
You having a nice afternoon?
I'm having a lovely afternoon.
You're loving the WhatsApps, aren't you?
Birthday afternoon.
It is my birthday afternoon.
Yeah, no, Bilko from Wigan. Love this. Hi, talkSPORT. Weird injuries. In the 90s, one of Liverpool's goalkeepers, Michael Stensgaard, injured his shoulder opening up an ironing board.
Oh.
Due to recurring surgery problems, it ended his career at the age of 26.
It ended his career?
I mean, if this is all true, then obviously what have we learned from that? Don't do ironing.
No. I've never done ironing once before in my life. I wouldn't even know how. I'd be petrified to open up an ironing board and deal with something that hot.
Come on, you're a young single man. You should be able to iron now.
Yeah, I mean, can you not tell by what I'm wearing that you may basically wear the same T-shirt which looks greasy?
You may have cupcake all over you. And,
yeah,
and how
good cupcakes though. Good cupcakes. I feel like
but it's not a crease T-shirt.
On these, say again.
It's not a crease T-shirt.
No. I feel like, although my dad said to me the other day, we went out for dinner, and he went, "I went through your Instagram, Sam, and you wear the same outfit on every single day." And I then actually went through my Instagram, and I basically just wear a black T-shirt and a black jacket.
You know, if that had been your sister or something, your dad's saying that. Even
yeah, I know. The irony of a man who
probably my age.
He's a builder. He's a bit young. Yeah, no, same age as you. Yeah. On those, we could do hours, couldn't we, on quirky, different, fun, bizarre injuries. But that one here, opening up an ironing board, is absolutely remarkable from Bilko in.
And happy birthday, Sam, from David in Cardiff.
David in Cardiff, I appreciate that. There is no better place I'd rather spend my birthday than with Scott Minto, live on the Sunday session.
I now know your lying face. Anyway, move on.
We are going to move on. Let's hear, shall we, from the former Premier League striker Darren Benton, the host of Drive. He was asked earlier this week which club is more attractive right now, Man United or Man City?
Answer me this: if Man United go in for the same amount of money,
yeah,
Man United or Man City right now, who's more attractive?
Well, this is what I think, right, about the two sides, right? Man United's obviously in a different stratosphere than Man City. Correct? You'd agree with that?
As a club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And I almost feel like whatever Man United do, it's magnified times 50, yeah?
Yeah.
When Man City do it, it's magnified, but it's not nowhere near the scale. Like when they win the treble, it was a little bit like, have they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we almost forgot when it happened.
Like, it was almost like, have they? So I think probably Manchester United are, in terms of stature of club, more attractive. But where the two sides are now, and could potentially win the Premier League next year, Man City are more attractive than Man United.
If you're Elliot Anderson, which club are you going to if they both knock on the door?
For my career?
Yeah.
Man City.
Oh, yeah?
You have to, yeah. You have to.
Before we get Scott Minto's take on this, on Friday's breakfast show, Shabana Hearn asked West Ham legend Carlton Cole who he'd picked to sign for out of Man City and Arsenal.
Who do you agree with there? Man City or Arsenal? What's the bigger pool? You have to choose one.
I don't know.
You're a free
Man City.
agent.
Man
right?
City.
You're going Man City?
Yeah.
Why?
It's the money, innit? The money, no?
It's not about the principle. It's about the money.
It's about the money, innit? That's what it is. It's money.
Oh, you're brilliant.
Because at the end of it, I know what you're saying, but I think money comes first in the game nowadays. You know, it's money rules the world.
Okay.
It's football anyway.
I want to ask you the same question, Scott, and hopefully you'll give me more than money.
I think Carlton's taken himself because he's not in the game. We're not now. I don't think it'd be for money for him. I understand what he's saying. There'll be plenty of money for both.
I feel like at Arsenal, you're still probably going to get paid quite nicely.
Exactly. In terms of living location, it's a choice. Manchester's obviously a great city. London, I personally prefer London, but again, that wouldn't necessarily be my choice. My choice would be, and it's interesting because one was between Man U and Man City, the other one was Man City and Arsenal. Yeah. So between Man City and Man United, I'd have to choose Man City. I think United is still the biggest club in the country and one of the biggest in the world, which goes to show how well they did in the Sir Alex Ferguson days. I played against that Beckham, Keane, Scholes, Giggs team, and they were just incredible. But I think City, what they've done over the last decade, especially under Pep Guardiola, I think has taken themselves way above United from a footballing point of view. But obviously there is no Pep. So I personally would choose City of that. I think this is the first time in a very long time that I would choose Arsenal over City. And it's only because even if Arsenal had won the title this year, which they did, but Pep said he was going to stay on one more year, I'd go City because of Pep. I genuinely think that City would have won the title next season if Pep had stayed because of because of the rebuild. When you think about how well he's done, well, we can spend ages if you want, but Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and people say, well, he's had the best players in that. But, Barcelona hadn't won a title for 2 years. They were in crisis when he took over. 2 trebles in 3 years, just incredible. Bayern Munich, he made the team better. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge said that even though he followed the treble and didn't win the Champions League themselves, it was well known within Bayern Munich that he improved the team. And at City, what he'd done over the last decade as well, and he rebuilt a couple of times. For them to win 4 straight top-flight titles, that's never been done before in the history of English football. And I know it's been 2 seasons now that he hasn't won it, but he was going to leave last season, but they fell off a cliff so much. He said, right, I can't leave. I'm going to sign a 2-year contract, but I'm only going to have 1 more year. That's why really Enzo, and I haven't got any proof of it, but Enzo Maresca walked away from Chelsea without any compensation or even trying for it. You're not telling me that Pep had made his decision well before, and therefore he'd been told, Maresca, you're next in line and it's going to be next season. If Pep was in charge, I think that the rebuild that they've done and the players sort of going forward, obviously there'd be a blow between Silva leaving, Rodri may be going as well, but he hasn't been the player that he was before the injury. I'd definitely go with City. But I think with Maresca, as much as I like him, and I really do, I think what Arteta has built is much more stable. And where Arsenal are right now, they do have the chance over the next 2 or 3 years to win back-to-back titles.
Well, between now and half, Scott, we'll maybe take a look at the kind of other big 5 traditional top 6s who are all in an interesting phase at the moment. Liverpool have got Iraola as their manager next season. United, Michael Carrick. Man City is presumed to be Enzo Maresca. Chelsea, Alonso. Spurs, De Zerbi. So 5 of those teams have either got new managers or managers that have taken over towards the back end of last season. So want to maybe go into detail with you who you like the most out of those 5. But is there a possibility that with Arsenal being Premier League champions, being Champions League finalists, that they could have a summer this year where they go from strength to strength and they say, we're Premier League champions, we're now going to pull clear of the rest, spend big, maybe improve some attacking positions? Is there a danger that Arsenal become unstoppable next season?
Unstoppable. I think the way they played in terms of the style, and I defended Mikel Arteta because for 3 years, the bridesmaid, not the bride. I saw them 3 years ago and they beat so many teams with such great football, and Chelsea being one of them, thrashed them 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. It was a 3-4-0 game, but the scoreline just said 1-0. He realised he had to keep it tight and be pragmatic this time to do it. If he stays that type of style, they're not going to dominate. It's going to be a similar type of season. Now, if they win back-to-back titles, then fair play to them. But no, I look at them and I think there's only really 2 places where they can really, really improve. And that is left wing and striker. I've been saying for a couple of years now, I want Chelsea to get Victor Osimhen. I don't understand, Sam, honestly, how he's not playing Premier League.
I don't think there's been a player that's been linked more with a move to the Premier League that's never played in the Premier League than Victor Osimhen.
Honestly, I mean, the stats I've got for him, and there were talked about possibly his knee, but the last 5 seasons in the league in Europe, I've got it down as he scored 125 goals, 24 assists. That's 144 goal involvements in 175 games.
Good numbers.
Now, that's Turkey, that's Serie A, that's Europa League, and that's Champions League. I mean, he is the one, I think, that would take almost any team to another level. And then you talk about the wide players as well, and we'll have to wait and see whether Arsenal do get a Morgan Rogers. I think it would be such a shame for Villa if they were forced to sell from a financial point of view, but he obviously would be very, very good. One thing I would say is I wonder whether the likes of Vinny Jr., who's only got a year left on his contract, if Jose Mourinho...
It's a big shout, Scott.
We still don't know yet in terms of... And again, I'm going big, and I think it's unlikely. If Mourinho goes to Real Madrid, how is that relationship after what happened in that game against Benfica? I don't know.
I think that is what you would call a statement signing from Arsenal. They can get Vinny Jr. from Real Madrid.
Absolutely. I mean, Rafinha and Anthony Gordon's now gone to Barcelona. So where is he going to be? So I'm just sort of saying, sound them out, see where they are. If you're left with Morgan Rogers, it's still going to improve the side. So there are players out there which I would love to see for Chelsea, but for Arsenal, I think that would improve them even more. And if they get those type of players, then I think got the chance to dominate.
Going to quiz you after the break on the other 5 Big Six clubs and maybe which ones you like the look of the most going into the new season. Some reports there in the papers, by the way, that if they can't get Morgan Rogers, Arsenal, they might look at Morgan Gibbs-White and Nottingham Forest, who obviously was close to moving away last summer. But back to the Monaco Grand Prix and Tom Clayton, we have some good news. We're back underway, is that right?
We're just about to get back underway. We're officially on racing lap number 70. We've had a couple of laps behind the safety car after a red flag. The FIA has concluded its investigation into the tarmac at the final corner. They've effectively just swept all of the debris away. And the 2 drivers who crashed there, Lance Stroll and Charles Leclerc, who are both out of this Grand Prix, neither of them said it was because of the tarmac. So we're going to get back underway with 8 laps to go on a standing start. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton, who was under investigation for an infringement under the safety car, he has been cleared of that now. So it is basically a shootout between Antonelli and Hamilton for the win, who, by the way, at one point in this race, Antonelli was 40 seconds ahead and had lapped up until the top 3. He's had a remarkable afternoon. It would almost feel cruel for him to come away. Isaac Hadjar is reporting low energy, low power at the moment. He's still under investigation for a safety car infringement. George Russell has got a drive-through penalty. Pierre Gasly has a 5-second penalty. So Oscar Piastri, who's down in 6th, doesn't currently have a penalty. He could finish 3rd without even passing anyone on track. The cars are coming back up to the starting line now. We're going to have just 7 racing laps, for this as we form back onto the grid. I mean, I can't remember a Grand Prix that's been like this, and it's not been for a particularly good reason. I think the FIA have been very slow, been very quiet to act. There's not been much communication in terms of the penalty. The lights are coming on for the race restart. We know the Ferrari starts very well, so be interesting to see how well it gets away. Kimi Antonelli's pulled away very nicely indeed. I'll do my best not to commentate, but he's back into the first corner, into the lead. Lewis Hamilton's in 2nd, and then it's George Russell in 3rd place. So interesting to see how this one's going to end. By the way, I'm going to pull you up earlier on. You said that the word winningest doesn't exist, and one of our texters said the same
Go on,
as well.
Tees, defend yourself.
I'm going to point you to the dictionary. Thank you very much. Winningest is an informal adjective used to describe a person, team, or organisation that has achieved the most wins or victories in a specific sport, competition, or field. For example, Sir Alex Ferguson is the winningest manager in Premier League history. So there.
Tom Clayton, that is why you
Tom.
are much more intelligent
Well done, mate.
and a much better human being than me. Back to Tom Clayton very shortly throughout the afternoon. We'll keep you across everything happening at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Let's talk about the World Cup then in a bit more detail. England, of course, touched down in America ahead of the competition. Let me get your views on the squad. Lots of players that a lot of people should have been in it weren't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Gibbs White, Adam Wharton, Trent, of course, Harry Maguire being another one. What have you made of the squad and the players that aren't going?
All of them players are the real technicians. Adam Wharton, Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent. And Trent. So my opinion personally is the majority of
Sounds of the weekend on talkSPORT. Our two stories say thank you very much for all your texts on 1889. The England camp vowing to take care of Eberechi after that penalty missed, and Real Madrid candidates promising some crazy signings. We've got Jesse J, price tag. Thank you, Steve, the Arsenal fan, and stand by me, Ben, the QPR fan. Keep your texts coming in. We touched on Arsenal, but again, next season of the traditional Big Six clubs, if you like, Man United, Michael Carrick, Man City, Enzo Maresca, Chelsea, Xavi Alonso, Tottenham, Roberto De Zerbi, and Liverpool, Andoni Iraola have all got new managers, Scott, or new-ish managers. Carrick and De Zerbi taking over midway through last season. You're Chelsea first, no European football. They've got a proven manager who's done it at the top level in Xavi Alonso. Is there any danger if, and I know it's a big if Chelsea can actually start behaving once again like a big football club in the transfer market and start signing some good players, could Chelsea be maybe the team to watch next season?
Team to watch as in what? As in
maybe the team that improves the most, and maybe it's a Chelsea team that could be not challenging-ish for closer to the top of the table than mid-table.
Listen, I've said for a long time, I've not been quite as negative as a lot of people. And I actually think they've got some very, very, very talented players. I mean, what I did say before Xabi Alonso was appointed is this is a crossroads moment for Chelsea Football Club. Because it's one thing for fans or even ex-players like myself. I know John Terry, Joey Cole, John Obi Mikel has been on talkSPORT and talked about the importance of senior pros. But it's one thing for us to talk about it when you've got the current Chelsea players saying we haven't got enough senior pros, Marc Cucurella as well as Enzo Fernandez. And people have sort of said, they're bang out of order and they just want to get away from the club. I look at it actually different. I look at it as if they care. And that's why they're being public about it. Sure. And if they didn't care, they just keep quiet and tell their agent, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. You know. But so I actually thought, first of all, the manager and then the players, the recruitment is absolutely key. I think bringing in Xabi Alonso, and you're right, he's been there, not been there, seen it, done it, because he hasn't been a manager for a very long time. But what he did at Leverkusen and what he would have learned at Real Madrid, where his win rate was actually very, very good.
But that whole experience, very political. I think that whole experience of managing the big egos at a big club, even though it ended up not lasting too long, I think will serve him well long term.
Absolutely. So I think he's even a better manager after leaving Real Madrid than before he went to Real Madrid. So for him to come to Chelsea now and have the manager tag, and people might turn around and say, well, does it mean anything? I think it does to the owners. These are very intelligent, multi-billionaire businessmen. And from a business point of view and a football, they've shown how clever they are. But actually, from a football point of view, I don't think up until now they've quite understood, again, the importance of balance. Balance in everything, Sam, is just so important. And between the youngsters and the senior pros, there's not enough. Abramovich sacked managers left, right and centre, but he gave the managers a ready-made world-class team full of senior pros. So if they're able to get, I think, just 3 or 4 down the spine of the side, keeper, centre-half, and another centre-forward to go, not necessarily alongside Joao Pedro, but they need to be able to, one, come off the bench if one's injured or one isn't playing particularly well, the other one can come on. And then maybe I think they need a left winger as well.
Do you think Chelsea will stick with Liam Delap? And give it, obviously, again, not as the first choice striker. You're maybe not even saying second choice striker, possibly even loan him out and say, go and join another Premier League team, play football, let's see how you get on. Yeah. Or do you think they might be like, we're giving you a season, you don't quite think you're up to this level?
I think he wasn't ready to play for Chelsea. It's such a big jump to go from, with respect, Ipswich to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that's what they are now, Chelsea Football Club. You know, with the pressure, and I think it's been very tough for him. I think he's obviously had injuries, but I also think when he has played, you don't get time, Sam. You don't get time nowadays, especially in that striker's position. I listen. People were giving Nicholas Jackson a lot of stick. I actually think Cole Palmer's missed Nicholas Jackson
making those runs.
Himself, yeah. He misses a lot of chances, but he scores, and he also creates havoc.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think he will. I think they need a striker there for sure.
And if you had to look into your, look into the future and predict the future, do you actually think that there will be a change in policy this summer, or do you think it's all just giving Alonso the manager title? It's all just public PR, or do you actually think they're going to look around them, listen to the outside noise, and say, "Hang on a minute, this is Chelsea Football Club. Come on now. If there's a chance to sign Eberechi Eze, we're going to take that, as opposed to signing Jamie Gittins and Alejandro Garnacho, to use that as an example."
Yeah. Well, if I could look into the future, Sam, me and you would be doing this. I'd win the lottery. Me and you'd be doing this in Barbados this time next year.
On talkSPORT?
On talkSPORT.
Well, why don't we just invent our own radio station?
No, I love talkSPORT.
No, so do
carry
I as
on
well.
working for talkSPORT.
Okay, if you could... Oh, we're having a serious conversation. I was going to start... Pick your fantasy Barbados radio team. Who's your newsreader? Who's your third voice?
Oh, no,
who's your
I'm not going there.
ex-footballer?
Yeah.
We're actually having a good conversation on your Chelsea.
Yeah, we'll have Cundy out there, though.
Oh,
he'd be great.
Benty?
Ali, of course.
Ali. Super Ali.
Al Brazil when he gets back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a great five-a-side team just there.
And me.
You, of course,
I'm
Sam.
coming out.
You,
I'll carry the
course.
drinks.
What was the question again?
I've absolutely no idea. Something about our Chelsea actually going to start signing some good players.
No, your question was, are they going to have a change in philosophy? I think they're going to have...
Change of intent, Scott.
I think they're going to have a change, but I don't think it's going to be a full change in the way that perhaps I would like. For example, I mean, it's a bit late now, but I would take an Antonio Rudiger back, because I think even though he's in his early to mid-30s, I think he's a winner, and he would give that kind of setting the standards in the dressing room straight away. But what I do think is they will get more experienced players and perhaps a little bit older, but I still, instead of being under 25, I think they might go 25, 26, maybe 27.
Okay. So they're basically going to get a year older.
A couple of years.
I mean, you haven't really sold that to me, Scott, have you?
No, and I haven't.
Chelsea.
Listen, what I want ready-made now.
They're two different things.
I think they've got some really good young pros, and I want ready-made players now. And if they're 29, 30, 31, I don't care. I don't think the owners are going to do quite that, but they will go up a little bit more in terms of age.
A younger policy, looking forward to the future. I like it. I mean, that's how I've managed to get my bases. talkSPORT have got a new policy that they can only employ under 30-year-olds now.
You're not under 30 now.
Oh, yeah, good point. I walked into that one. Although, technically, when I was booked for this show, I was under 30 years of age.
So from now on...
I might not get any more work post this day, but hey, we will.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Sam.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Do you want to do the last 90 minutes by yourself? Or this is the Sunday session. We're on talkSPORT. We're going to head back to the Monaco Grand Prix very, very shortly because we have got a result. So we'll get to Tom Clayton very, very shortly on that. In terms of the tennis, Zverev won, Koboli won, 1-0 in that game, 3-3 in the third set. Much more to come. Sunday session with you until 6 o'clock. We're live on talkSPORT.
He's the sort of player, Andy, that you can't really look at age because he could play at this level for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Do you think that long?
Yeah, I do.
31, you think he could be playing?
Doesn't rely on his pace.
No, he doesn't, but it's very rare you get great players. Even look at Mo Salah, right? Last season
Relied on
before
his
last
pace.
Yeah,
Do you know what
well,
I mean?
I didn't look at Salah and thought his pace had gone. His just whole game went all of a sudden overnight.
Yeah. I think when I watched him, he didn't look as quick. But I feel like Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? You'll find a position for him, even if his legs do go a little bit. He's just that talented. His passing range, mate. Do you know what I mean? Set pieces.
Reportedly has a £57 million release clause for European clubs. That means he can't throw him, say, go to Man City. Should the likes of Real Madrid be all over that? Is that a bargain?
I would. If I'm Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, any club, maybe not PSG, that they've got a very good midfield. But if I'm Manchester United, I'm saying not a chance. 60 million, 70 million, I'll say no. I feel like he's that good to what Manchester United have done in the last season we just had. And
A very, very good afternoon. It is the Sunday session. It's Sunday, June the 7th, just gone 4:30. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto with you until 6 this evening. We are giving you the chance to win a trip to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, courtesy of Adidas. You and a mate could be in New York on June 27th, seeing England versus Panama live. We've got your flights, hotels, spending money, match tickets, and the official Try Under Match Ball all covered. Head to talksportwin.com to enter, and for full T's and C's now. But we have a result at the Monaco Grand Prix, a chaotic race. How did it end, Tom Clayton?
Absolute chaos is absolutely right. Kimi Antonelli, the young teenage 19-year-old Italian, becomes only the 10th man in Formula One history to win 5 Grand Prix in a row. It's his first in Monaco. Goodness gracious me, what an imperious drive he has put on this afternoon. There was a point when he was 40 seconds ahead of the rest of the field and had lapped all the way up until his teammate, who was in 4th place at the time. But a late bit of drama with that red flag. Initially, Stroll went into the wall, and we thought that was just an innocuous braking problem. And then after the safety car from that, Charles Leclerc went into the wall at exactly the same point. The red flags were brought out, and the FIA had to inspect the track because the tarmac that they're racing on was starting to tear up. In the meantime, Leclerc had to drop out of the race, and eventually it was restarted. Antonelli led away. Hamilton was cleared from a safety car infringement. He finishes in 2nd place. And after that, I'm not 100% sure where everyone else has finished, because on track, Pierre Gasly finished in 3rd, but he had a 5-second penalty that drops him down to 7th. Isaac Hadjar has then moved up to 3rd, but he's being investigated after the race for an infringement under the safety car, so he might drop down. And Oscar Piastri, who with 10 laps to go was in 7th place, at the moment is in 4th place and could benefit from that and finish 3rd. Oh my word, I've got to get my breath back. But then Also, one other storyline for you. Nico Hülkenberg, the Audi driver, potentially getting a 10-second time penalty himself, would drop him out of the top 10 and move Sergio Perez in the Cadillac up into 10th place. That would mean Cadillac have their first ever point in Formula One, but Sergio Perez is also under investigation. Honestly, the amount of times we're going to talk in the next few weeks about penalties at the World Cup, it's all been about penalties here and playing surfaces at the Monaco Grand Prix. I need to lie down. Goodness gracious me.
Tom, go and get that lie down, mate. Good work. That was Tom Clayton, talkSPORT's F1 correspondent. Kimi Antonelli, his remarkable run carries on. He has won the Monaco Grand Prix. In the tennis, it is the French Open final. Can Alexander Zverev finally cross the Grand Slam finish line against Flavio Cobolli? Zverev very much the favourite to finally land the major title he's long been predicted to win. He's lost 3 previous Grand Slam finals for Cobolli. He's never gone beyond the Paris third round until this year. He's the 10th seed. He's also never been past the quarters at Slam. Zverev won the first set 6-1. Cobolli won the second 6-4. It is 4-3 on serve in the third. Today's winner will also become the first-time major champion since Yannick Sinner at the 2024 Australian Open. Scott, just to go back to the sort of club chat we were having, we spoke about Chelsea and possibly next season a change of approach in the transfer market. Obviously, the new manager, Xavi Alonso, coming in. We're looking more broadly at how 5 of the traditional Big 6 clubs have all got new managers or managers going into their first full season. Liverpool and Andoni Iraola. I think this is so hard to predict what's going to happen because I think in terms of the coach, I think it's a really good appointment for Liverpool. I think the work that he did at Bournemouth is almost impossible not to have been really, really impressed. But I thought Thomas Frank was going to be a good appointment for Spurs. I thought Graham Potter was going to be a good appointment for Chelsea. I mean, you go all the way back many, many years ago when Man United went for David Moyes. I thought at the time that made sense, right? Given his track record at Everton. How he deals Andoni Iraola at the big club, the pressure, the press conferences, etc., etc. That's the unknown. I think that's why it's quite hard to work out how this is going to look for Liverpool.
Again, couldn't agree more. That's 3 times, mate. We're in agreement today.
Just being nice, it's my birthday, aren't you?
No. Yeah, actually, you'll have an extra one for your birthday, yeah. Look, I do agree because, you know, I've said this before. I think I call it the don't follow Fergie. You know, you look at what David Moyes did following Sir Alex Ferguson. You look what Unai Emery did following Arsene Wenger. And I know people might turn around and say, well, Arsene Wenger, a lot of people wanted him out. Yeah, I mean, people wanted change, but then if there is going to be change, it needs to be immediate improvement. And clearly there wasn't at that particular time. No one's willing to wait. And then you look at Liverpool with Slot and Jurgen Klopp. And he won the title last season, and yet within 12 months, he's now gone. Not just because of the football. I think because of the following, this charismatic, incredible person as well as football coach who just connected with the city, let alone the actual football club as well. And Arne Slot, because he was a very different personality, he almost needed to win the title just to get the second year. And I think following someone who's been so iconic, like
I'm not sure about that, by the way.
Go on.
I don't think he needed to win the league in his first season to get another crack.
No. Okay, so maybe he didn't need to, but my point is the fact the second season there was a drop-off. If the roles had been reversed, you'd be saying, like, you know, well done, let's crack on for the third season. But because, you know, people were saying it was almost Klopp's team that he won it with. Now, I would turn around and say, well, Klopp didn't win it with Klopp's team. Arne Slot tweaked
changes
it. Absolutely.
Style of football under Slot.
Style of football, more control. Gravenberch dropping in into the holding midfielders are the obvious ones. But because I think there were lots of mitigating circumstances why this was always going to be a tough season for Liverpool, and yet 12 months on, he's been sacked. And again, I think it's the shadow still of Jurgen Klopp. So I think following.
I'm not sure this. I think Scott, with what you're saying about Jurgen Klopp, I think Liverpool fans are aware that possibly in their lifetime they're never going to see another Jurgen Klopp come in, and I don't think that it's fair to think that Liverpool fans are expecting the next manager to be like Jurgen Klopp. I think Liverpool fans know what they had with Klopp in terms of the connection to the city, his charisma. Is quite unique. Like, you're not the next man or the next one or the one in 20 years' time isn't going to be like Jurgen Klopp. And there was mitigating factors with Arne Slot. Like, it wasn't his fault that Mo Salah's form dropped off. It wasn't his fault that, you know, Konate decided to not be able to defend for the first few months of the season. But ultimately, he is the head coach. He's responsible for the tactics and setting the team up. And for pretty much all of that season, I couldn't tell you what he was trying to do, how he was trying to get the best out of his players, and that's on him as a head coach.
Well,
he ran out of ideas towards the end of the season, and that's why I think So I don't think it has anything to do with Klopp.
I do. So I disagree with you, and I.
But then, so what you're basically saying? Andoni Iraola has to come in and
no, because he's not followed. I think if he'd have followed Jurgen Klopp,
do you mean in terms of style of football, then? Because I think
everything.
Style of football, I'd give you that, but
similar.
I don't think because last season he was still in terms of him and his charisma and his personality.
Whose personality?
Arne Slot. He wasn't.
He hasn't got the charisma of Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, but last season,
and I like Arne Slot.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. But the point I'm making is last season that wasn't an issue.
No, it wasn't an issue because they were winning football matches. So when you don't,
the issue here isn't his personality. The issue is his tactics.
So when you don't win, listen, if they had played really badly, if they'd have done an Arsenal this year, Liverpool fans still would have taken it because you won the title, and that would have been 2 titles out of 2. If you'd have somehow won the Champions League, even though if you had not been particularly good, then it would have been, well, hold on a minute, you've won the Premier League and the Champions League in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I listened to his interview at the end of the season. It's very difficult, Sam, when things are going really wrong, to turn it around. We saw Pep Guardiola struggling to do that. And it's still, taking time, and he hasn't won a trophy now, or hasn't won a Premier League for 2 years. When, you didn't mention the Diogo Jota and the tragedy there.
Of course.
No, we can only begin to understand how much that would have affected the team. And even when they were winning in those first 5 matches, they weren't playing particularly well. But when it goes wrong, it's very, very difficult to turn it around. For the number of reasons you've given, Luis Diaz I can throw in as well. How big a blow. I don't think people realised how big he was for Liverpool. And it's come out that Arne Slot did not want him to go. So, a lot of things were out of his control. My point is, and going back to Andoni Iraola, and we'll have to agree to disagree in terms of the following Jurgen Klopp, because I think Liverpool fans, almost on a subconscious level, have been so appreciative of what Jurgen Klopp did both on and off the pitch, how charismatic he was, what a top manager where he wasn't spending what Pep Guardiola was spending and yet was going toe-to-toe to the very, very last game. But just whenever there was anything that went wrong in the city as well as in the football front, he just seemed to come out with everything in the right way, with the right tone. And Andoni Iraola, for me, from a purely football point of view, because that's what the Liverpool fans, including yourself, have been saying this season, the football isn't good enough. The football's rubbish. So Andoni Iraola, from a football point of view, is as close to Jurgen Klopp as you can, that kind of heavy metal front foot football. Now, where I do agree with you, what you said just before is it's a big, big jump. It's a big jump from Bournemouth to Liverpool off the pitch. You're now at one of the biggest clubs in the world. And can you handle that? Now, as a player, if you look at who he played with, and I think the fact that he's a Basque and played with Athletic Club for so long, I think he can appreciate almost Liverpool is like that. It's, the city of Liverpool, there's such proud people. The fans are, at Anfield, you never walk alone, and the anthem there is one of the best in world football. So he understands that kind of this is who we are within a country. But can he handle all the pressure that comes with it, especially when things don't go well? If Bournemouth lose 3 or 4 games on the spin, it's not a big thing. If Liverpool do, it's a crisis.
Really interesting. Yeah, and it's the press conferences as well. Press conferences now. It's almost like Thomas Frank said something like, we're going to lose football matches in his first press conference. The next thing that kind of soundbite gets taken everywhere, and that's kind of used against him.
I think one other thing as well, just quickly, I think he will, he's already said he will look to, he's excited to working with the academy players, whereas I think Arne Slot
I
didn't.
think that when we spoke about Rio and Gamoa at the top of the show, that one of Slot's problems was the lack of minutes for Rio and Gamoa, who looked really good, really dangerous.
But we can agree to disagree as well, Sam. It's not a problem. You're a Liverpool fan. That's how.
Look. There are a lot of mitigating circumstances. You're right to mention the death of Diogo Jota, injuries, players out of form. But ultimately, I think Liverpool fans
Isak injury,
turned on Arne Slot because of the results, because he looked towards the end tactically out of his depth. Like game to game, Liverpool would get passed through the midfield. You see sometimes half a dozen players standing on top of each other. The only thing I disagree with, I don't think the Jurgen Klopp example is right and fair, because I love Jurgen Klopp more than most, I promise you. But I, in my mind, know as a Liverpool fan, in terms of him as a coach, a character, what he's done for the city, we're never going to get that ever again in our lifetime. So I've never looked at Arne Slot and thought, you're not, because he's unique. He was completely unique as a manager. So I don't think it's fair to have compared Slot to Klopp in terms of their character, their personality, their aura.
I think let's see how it goes in the next year or two with Iraola. The football will be good. Let's see how it is. And I think it will help him not following Jurgen Klopp. And we'll have to agree to disagree with that, because I think that he was such a big character, both on and off the pitch, that Liverpool fans, almost anything that wasn't Klopp related, and anti-Slot was almost the opposite on so many ways of Jurgen Klopp, then you have to win football matches. They won football matches. They won the Premier League. And yet 12 months later, he's out of a job.
Yeah, because the football wasn't good enough, because he looked tactically out of his depth, and he looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
And there's no time. I mean, it took Jurgen Klopp to time to turn things around. And I listened to that interview that he did at the end of the season, Arne Slot. And the question is, what went wrong? Do you know how to fix it?
No.
How much is it going to cost? He said in his last press conference, one of his last ones, that he wanted to get the season out of the way. Yeah. He knows what to do. And next season, he will win the fans back, because winning football matches is what it's about. And he believed he had a plan. And I think that as much as Liverpool hierarchy denied the Salah tweet had anything to do with it, I think it wasn't necessarily the Salah tweet.
The players
liked it. The amount of players who liked it.
I think, unfortunately, watching Liverpool for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, when he says he has a plan for next season, I think it's almost impossible to have had any faith in that, because he game to game last season just looked like he didn't have a plan, and looked like he didn't know how to get the best out of players and turn things around.
The hierarchy clearly agree with you.
There we go. Took them long enough to agree with me, but they got there in the end, didn't they? It is the Sunday session. We are live on talkSPORT. You know what's next? The return of everybody's favourite feature. No arguing next. It's Sunday Smiles.
To be considered a big club, like the likes of Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
What, Man City's bigger than Arsenal?
Well, in Europe they are. They've won the competition.
Cool, they won. But what are we saying? Are we talking about trophies, or are we talking about...
I'm talking about dining at the top table with all the big heads that have won it. Do you think you need...
What, so we're only basing this on Europe? So if you win the European Cup, that means you're a big club?
In Europe.
Well, are we not going off all the trophies that we've won?
We haven't won that many.
We've won
Arsenal? Are you joking?
Well, okay, take FA Cups out of it.
No, forget FA Cups. Leagues.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you.
The Sunday session, we are live on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto with you until 6. Sounds of the weekend. You are still texting in songs on 81089 after we told you about the England camp vowing to take care of Eze and the Real Madrid candidates promised crazy signings. So we got Fleetwood Mac, dreaming of Real Madrid making those big signings. And we've also got Bruno Mars, count on me. And I'm sure, Scott Minto, that Eberechi can count on all the England players to look after him when he and the Arsenal boys rock up the camp very, very shortly.
I think he has shown the resilient person as well as player he is before he signed for Arsenal. When you think about how many rejections he had as a kid. So, I mean, if there's someone who could get over it, he's confident in his ability. I saw him playing for QPR. I thought he was a superb player.
You knew then that he was going to go to the top?
I didn't quite know he'd be, like a Premier League winning player. But I knew he had absolutely top half Premier League class. And I thought he was superb then. He was in my team of the year when he was at QPR for the Championship. And I knew he'd be some kind of star. Didn't realise how much quite a star. And to be fair, he got over it 24 hours later because he was enjoying the celebrations, wasn't he?
Yeah. Did you get many rejections in your career? Or like, was there a moment where you were like, oh no, that's tough to take, hard to kind of pick yourself up and go again?
Not when I was a youngster. Only when you're in the team, really, and then you're coming up against quality players in your position. So sometimes I'd be playing, sometimes I wouldn't. But as a youngster, no. To be fair, it went really well.
Yeah.
Charlton all the way.
Charlton all the way. There we go. Good man. Not many people knew that you were a Liverpool fan growing up as a young kid.
Well, I was born in the Wirral, so my whole family are Liverpool even now. I'm not. Yeah. I want to say that.
No,
nothing against Liverpool.
Sounds like you do a little bit, mate. No. Couldn't wait to get out of the city, could you?
We moved down. Yeah, we're born in the Wirral. Moved down when he was 3. So brought up down south. Liverpool fan as a kid. King Kenny on my wall. But when I got into the Charlton first team, I just stopped supporting them. So all the teams that I played for, all 5 of them, for me, mean more to me than Liverpool.
I love that, Scott Minto. That put a smile on my face.
Is that right?
So with that in mind, now it's time for this.
Oh, you're so smooth.
When you're smiling,
let's just smile for the next 7 minutes. It's Sunday, June the 7th, approaching 5 o'clock. People are maybe making their Sunday roast, wondering what takeaway to order. They've got talkSPORT in the background, maybe on the TV, on talkSPORT's YouTube channel or your smart TVs. And I'll tell you that our first smile just had to be World Cup fever. Forget goals, no one cares. Trophies, VAR drama, move aside. Some World Cups are remembered just as much for their haircuts, of course they are. A new poll of 2,000 UK adults has crowned David Beckham's iconic 2002 Mohawk as the greatest World Cup bonnet of all time. Brits are clearly in a nostalgic mood ahead of this summer's tournament because Paul Gascoigne's Italian 90 skin fade taking second place. Completing the podium is Erling Haaland's ponytail and shave size combo. I'm not sure that is kind of one that jumps out.
No,
this one is though, while Ronaldo's legendary 2012 triangle fringe could only manage 4th. Well, I'm sorry. Erling Haaland's ponytail and shave size. Forget about that one. For me, when I think World Cup, I think iconic. It is that Ronaldo trim, isn't it? It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, what a player, by the way. Do you know what? I think he had his cruciate injuries by the time he was like 23.
Brutal.
Have you seen his goals for Barcelona?
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the greatest players,
yeah,
ever. And if only he'd have stayed fit, then I think he would be up there with the Messi and Maradona.
You reckon?
Yeah,
big shout from the Midmeister.
Absolutely. 100%.
I like that. Scott, what is your favourite World Cup trim?
Oh, dear.
How would you describe your trim for people listening?
Well,
I don't know what you look like.
No, I have no idea how I'd describe my trim, so you can describe it for me.
I've got no idea.
Do you know my hairdresser's with the Turkey squad right now?
No
Yeah,
way.
my hairdresser is
You got
Turkish.
a famous barber?
I don't know if he's famous,
Well, if
but
he's the Turkey team, he must be.
He is with the Turkey squad, and he'll be there until they get knocked out.
How much you pay for your trim?
What's it got to do with you?
Now you definitely got to tell me how much you pay for your trim.
I don't.
What? You don't pay for your trim?
Well, he very kindly does it for me.
Why? What'd you give him back?
That's a good question.
That's right. You just walk in there and he just gives you a trim for free.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever paid for the haircut?
Not with him. I have done. Of course, I have.
Can you text him and ask if you do mine for free as well, please?
He's in the States at the moment.
Okay, well, when he comes back. Oh, goodness me, that is absolutely
if you
remarkable.
By the way, my answer is...
Go on, sorry.
Carlos Valderrama.
Okay, tell us more about it for those who don't know.
So in other words, you don't. And as you quickly go to the computer and Google him on the internet, he had this Colombian captain, arguably their greatest ever player.
Oh, God, sorry. Of course I meant.
Yeah. And, I mean, how would you describe it? You got the picture in front of you.
I mean, it's big, it's bushy, it's long, it's
blonde.
Top, kind of curly blonde hair. That might be the worst haircut I've ever seen of all time. How would I, does that not wear you down when you run for the ball?
Be careful when you say that, because he played with Faustino Asprilla and a few of the others in Pablo Escobar's prison when he had a five-a-side pitch. So just be careful what you say about it.
Can I just stress,
Yeah,
this
go
is
on.
supposed to be Sunday Smiles. Let's
Okay.
move on very
All
quickly
right.
to next
Okay.
your story. I'm sorry, your haircut is really, really nice. I'm going to try and get one myself, Mr. Valderrama.
Our next Sunday Smile comes from Gordon Strachan, who has revealed the one play he simply wanted nothing to do with on a football pitch. talkSPORT's very own Stuart Pearce.
Go on, Piercy.
Strachan admitted he was so terrified of lining up against the former England hardman that he regularly ignored Sir Alex Ferguson's instructions to play on his side. In fact, Gordon reckons he invented playing between the lines
Very good.
years before it became fashionable. Not through tactical genius, but because he was desperately trying to stay away from Pearce as much as possible. Comparing the experience to a trip to the dentist, Strachan said you always knew the pain was coming. You just didn't know when.
I love the idea that the phrase between the lines now is such
Brilliant.
a sexy tactical part of the game.
Yeah.
And it was basically invented because
Gordon did
Stuart Pearce is scary. That's a really, really good story. So someone's got to tell that to Stuart Pearce on air if it hasn't been done already. Our next Sunday Smile comes from Arsenal, who have shown that winning the Premier League isn't the only thing they're good at. The Gunners have donated 40 pairs of football socks to a donkey sanctuary in Norfolk, where they're used to protect the animals' legs from painful fly bites during the summer months. The charity described it as one of the most unusual donations they've ever received, one that's hugely appreciated.
So they didn't even ask for it. They just received
It was a bit like you and your haircut. You just had to go in there. It gave you a free trim. Good work, Arsenal. Good stuff.
Yeah, well done.
Good football socks going to a good cause. Well done, Scott.
Okay.
Well, up next, this involves someone that you're a big fan of, right? Go on, the GK Cook Barry. You said she was cool, didn't you?
Didn't I? I had to ask you. And our final Sunday Smile comes from Soccer Aid, where GK Barry may have produced the most Soccer Aid moment ever. Just seconds after coming on for England, the influencer completed a simple pass before immediately turning to celebrate with the crowd. The only problem? Her teammate Tom Grennan had passed the ball straight back to her and it rolled harmlessly out of play while she was busy soaking up the applause. Grennan's frustrated reaction said it all, but the fans absolutely loved it online. The question is, what's the quickest you've ever lost concentration doing your job, apart from today?
Yeah, I was going to say it about 2:01 and 20 seconds into the show when you asked me a question and I was miles of it. I see, GK, people got really upset about this on social media. Oh, it's not funny. It's it's for charity. It's a little bit of fun. They're raising money. Good on GK Barry. Did you know who GK Barry was?
No.
Do you know who Angry Ginger's?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like Angry Ginger?
I must admit, I'm not all over Angry Ginge, but
no,
I've not heard of GK Barry.
You haven't heard of GK? I think she did The Jungle, didn't she? I think she's just an online content creator, podcaster. She is
podcaster.
Yeah. Maybe we need to get her on, get a part of the ever-growing talkSPORT podcast committee, right?
It may well happen.
There we go. Okay, but very quickly, you've got 30 seconds to answer this question. I should have asked you this, but when, Stuart Pearce frightened the life out of Gordon Strachan, was the one player that you came up against that you were like, get me away from him?
Okay, short story. I made my professional league debut at the Den. I went in late on a guy called...
Enough said.
Terry Hurlock, and you never do that. Even my own teammates said, you're on your own here, son. 20 minutes later...
No.
20 minutes later, Keith Stevens, a.k.a. Rhino, came in at me hip high. It would have been today a red card and a 4-match ban, then it was a yellow card. I had marks on me for 18 months.
Sunday Smiles has become Sunday Pain. Scott, I'm so sorry. Let's go and get you a cup of tea. Up next, we're turning our attention to the transfers as Ben Jacobs brings us all of the latest. I can almost feel the pain that you went through all that. My right hip now is almost in pain just thinking about that tackle. Absolutely bang out of order. We're approaching 5 o'clock. We are live on talkSPORT.
I remember going back a couple of years when he was linked with a move to Real Madrid, and Bournemouth fell off a cliff after that because he seemed to be sort of wavered by what happened with the attention that came his way when the big boys came calling. So he's got to almost mature himself. Let's a couple of years down the line, maybe he will be able to handle it a little bit better this time around. But if Liverpool had any reservations, I would imagine that that would be one of them. Bournemouth finished 6th last season, 1 position and 3 points behind Liverpool in the league. They qualified for next season's Europa League. What represents success for Andoni Iraola this time around, Crook?
It's a brilliant question. Winning the title, I guess, would be the aspiration, because Arne Slot achieved that in his first season. Jurgen Klopp won it as well. So I think that there'll be the high standards that he'll be asked to try.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic 3-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side, with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Sourav Ganguly, Andy Flower, Anil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
Here.
Oh, and he's found the net! What a run and what a goal!
There.
He hits it first time. What a volley! What a goal!
On Sundays.
Oh, what a goal!
We are everywhere. On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Strap yourself in. It's Destination Football. The Sunday Session on talkSPORT.
It is indeed the Sunday Session. We are live on talkSPORT. It's Sam Ellard and the former Benfica left-back Scott Minto. A busy day of sporting action. The French Open final in the business end. Zverev won the first set, Koboli the second, and Zverev the third. But Koboli is broken in the fourth and is 2-1 up. In fact, he's held. He is now 3-1 up in the fourth set. Are we going to a decider in the French Open final? England got off to a winning start in the Test series against New Zealand in front of Will Hobbs.
Day 4 at Lords was a formality as England wrapped up their 115-run win. By lunchtime, Josh Tongue with the second over of the day, dismissing Tom Blundell, LBW. Glenn Phillips and Devon Conway then rallied for a 50 partnership, but once Conway skewed to Jacob Bethel at gully off Ben Stokes, the floodgates then opened. Nathan Smith 4, Carl Jameson 6, and Matt Henry 0, bowled by Gus Atkinson, who completed his fifer. A better pitch expected at the Oval. Will Jofra Archer return? If he does, who does he replace?
Oh, it's nice, isn't it, to see England winning a Test match once again. And talkSPORT's Tom Clayton, he kept us right across a crazy Monaco Grand Prix.
The 19-year-old Italian Kimi Antonelli becomes the 10th man in Formula One history to take a 5th Grand Prix win in a row. It was an imperious drive from the Mercedes man who saw off the challenge of the Ferraris of Hamilton and Leclerc. But there was late drama. A red flag after multiple crashes, one of which was third place Leclerc, at the same corner led F1 bosses to investigate breaking up tarmac. The race was restarted. Antonelli cruised to the win with Hamilton second. Red Bull's Isaac Hadjar finished third, but is under investigation and could yet get a penalty, which could put McLaren's Oscar Piastri into third. This on a day where Max Verstappen and Lando Norris both suffered technical failures and did not finish. So the win for Antonelli, who after 6 rounds is a whopping 66 points clear at the top of the championship. Next week we're in the Catalan Hills as Formula One goes to Barcelona.
A busy day of sporting action. The Sunday Session is with you until 6 o'clock this evening. You all right, Scott?
I'm good, mate. Yeah.
You're looking engrossed in Koboli versus Zverev.
Yes. Do you know what? This could easily be a 5-setter.
It's going 5 sets, isn't it?
Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant the way they play. And you know what? Individual sport, you've got to admire them, haven't you? It's one thing to do.
Especially after a 2-week tournament.
Yeah.
They would have played
every
half
other
a dozen
day
games to get to this. Every other day, half a dozen games.
Yeah.
And they've got to just find that energy, don't they, towards the end. Today's winner will become the first-time major champion since Yannick Sinner, all the way back in 2024. So a long, long time. And of course, Zverev has been to 3 finals before and lost them. Koboli never got past the quarter-final before at a major Grand Slam. He is in the final. 2-1 to Zverev in sets, but in the fourth set, Koboli is 3-1 up and has got a break. Shall we talk some transfers, Scott Minto? Would you like that?
Yeah.
Let's bring in talkSPORT's transfer guru, Ben Jacobs. Ben, a very good afternoon. How are you, mate?
Good afternoon and good morning here from Los Angeles. You might just be able to see in the background the Hollywood sign, or certainly the hills behind me.
Is it sunny enough for sunglasses, Ben, or is it more of a fashion statement? That 'cause it looks quite cloudy, and you've got a big pair of shades on.
Or has Ben just had a really good night?
Oh, that's a good question. Have you been to bed yet, Ben, or are you still just out after a good night out in America?
I mean, 1, it's LA, so you can wear sunglasses indoor or outdoor. 2, we got off a red-eye flight from Chicago into Los Angeles at about 3 in the morning, and the third point to make is just I'm cool.
Yeah, you should have just gone, I'm cool, deal with it, leave me alone, and worry about your own fashion, Sam Ellard.
Drop the mic and walk off.
No, that would not have been good, because we do have some questions to ask you. Tottenham Hotspur are in the Premier League. Roberto De Zerbi is there for his first full season, and it looks like early on, Ben, they're looking to be pretty active.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very active. So Marcos Seneze is already agreed and in fact signed now a 4-year deal after he left Bournemouth on a free transfer. There was maybe some suggestions from outside sources that somebody else could enter that race. Manchester United had made a cursory inquiry. Of course, Andoni Iraola joining Liverpool and Ibrahima Konate leaving made some people ask me, is there going to be a twist here? But Tottenham were always confident because the player had given them their word and he's kept it and he's signed, and I expect that to be announced at some point. probably between now and before the window opens. Then Andy Robertson is already in. He's been announced by Tottenham. Jean-Paul Van Hecke is a very interesting one. Paul Barber, the CEO of Brighton, was on talkSPORT earlier today, and he said not one but two bids have been turned down. He didn't rule out a sale, but of course, as ever, the price has to be right for Brighton, so Tottenham could be back there. Then you have the left wing. They've really been looking for another left wing since last summer. They couldn't agree a deal with Manchester City back then for Savinho, but flash forwards 12 months and talks are back underway, and I think Manchester City may have a slightly different position. It was a flat, not for sale at any price last summer. Now there could be a little bit more engagement, and 12 months ago Tottenham were prepared to put down somewhere in the region of £60 million, even more, sources say, in fact, with bonuses. Then central midfield, particularly a deeper lying midfielder, they need to resolve the future of João Paulinho, who's open to staying. The option to buy, though, wasn't triggered at the end of the season, but could well be renegotiated still. If it isn't to be Paulinho, 6 becomes a priority. And then there's still a question mark as to whether Tottenham entertain offers for Richarlison, even though he was important last season, and if that's the case, a number 9 could be on the cards as well. So Tottenham are going to back Roberto De Zerbi, and they'll be one of the busiest clubs this summer.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of comings and goings, won't there, right up until deadline day, certainly for Spurs. What about Carl Rushworth as well then? Had a wonderful season for Coventry, but not actually a Coventry player. Will he be next season?
Yeah, Coventry trying. So yesterday a formal bid came in, which we understand to be somewhere close to £20 million with add-ons included. So that's a huge fee for a goalkeeper that obviously Coventry rate very highly. Brighton need to decide what they're doing with their goalkeepers and whether Rushworth and Verbruggen's futures might be linked in any way. There's been no answer at the time I'm live, but of course that could change very quickly, so we'll keep you posted on that front. And Rushworth is open to joining Coventry City permanently, where he knows if that signing takes place, he'll be playing every week in the English top flight. So it's no real surprise that Frank Lampard and the recruitment team at Coventry are going big on Rushworth, and now they have to wait for Brighton's answer, which, if it comes quickly, I think will be viewed as a positive indication that they are prepared to sell, and then Coventry will have to understand whether that relatively big and competitive offer is good enough. If it comes a bit slower, then it might be Brighton delaying whilst they work out what they want to do with their goalkeepers.
talkSPORT reporter Anil Kundola covers Coventry regularly, has just said to me he's the future England #1. High praise. Ben, in my running order, it says Michael Elise latest. Which looks quite exciting because it feels like you've now got some news, which means that he might not, like, my guess would be he's going to just be at Bayern Munich next season because Bayern Munich are really good, and so is Michael Elise. But the fact that it says Michael Elise latest, I have a tiny bit of confidence now. You might tell me he's not just going to be at Bayern Munich next season.
Is he the Real Madrid mystery Galactico?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you spoiled it now, but yes, absolutely. He is the mystery Galactico.
And he's put sunglasses on. Ben, and he's put sunglasses on too as well to try and copy you.
No, I haven't.
Absolutely bang out of order. Seeing at transfer stories and got the shades on.
Starting a trend at the World Cup. I think everyone that arrives now in sunglasses is going to be taking a leaf out of Ben Jacobs' book. But yeah, Michael Elise is the player, even though he tried to downplay it publicly, that Florentino Perez, in the build-up to these presidential elections, had said very clearly is the one that he wants to spend €150 million on. And when I say said very clearly, he tried to downplay it publicly, but sources in and around Real Madrid have kind of pushed him since, both publicly and privately. And it's obvious that that is the player now, not Vitinha, not João Neves, the one that Florentino Perez has claimed after the presidential election, should he win, he'll make a bid for, is going to be Michael Elise to the tune of €150 million. Now, of course, any club can put in a bid. York City could say, we want to spend $1 billion on Kylian Mbappe.
Good
and
team.
in likelihood, Real Madrid would say no, but it doesn't mean that that bid wasn't placed. So I think this is gamesmanship from Florentino Perez, and Bayern's stance is very clear that Michael Elise is not for sale. There's other signings, though, that are going to come in and are not part of the games. One is Denzel Dumfries, and the other is Ibrahima Konate on a free transfer, who has agreed terms over a 4-year contract. So Florentino Perez has got a luxury in the sense that he is still president, so he can just make signings, and then in campaigning to be president, he's given loftier ambitions, and both candidates have done it, to be honest. You may remember the other candidate said that he's got an agreement in place with Erling Haaland that was ferociously denied by those close to the player, and also Manchester City as well. So it's fascinating, because imagine if in England you had a top Premier League club, even though they don't hold presidents usually, sometimes presidents of business or operations, and if they had some form of election or campaigning for the role and they just started chucking all their targets out there in public, it wouldn't be the done thing in England. So it's been fascinating to watch these Real Madrid presidential elections, but it would be absolutely jaw-dropping, staggering, and basically impossible if Michael Olise, despite whether a bid is or isn't actually made, left Bayern Munich this summer.
At least Perez, I suppose, was the clever of the two by not naming Michael Olise rather than the other one talking about Erling Haaland, which isn't going to happen. What about Jan Diamand as well? He's still a teenager. Any chance of him coming to the Premier League?
Oh, I think we might have lost Ben Jacobs there. Let's see if we can try and get Ben back. Yeah, asking there about.
He was looking too cool there. Wasn't
yeah, looking there, asking there about Diamonde. By the way, in the tennis, in that fourth set, Zverev is 2-1 up in sets, and Koboli leads 3-2. He has broken, but Zverev has now got a break opportunity. Koboli's first serve goes out and it is returned. We'll try and get Ben Jacobs back and we can hear all about Mr. Diamonde. To be honest with you, I actually wanted to ask him just what he's up to this week. I kind of, because he's a talkSPORT transfer guru, football correspondent. In fact, let's ask him. He's back now. Ben, but Scott was asking about Diamonde and possibility, the chance of Diamonde coming back to the Premier League, Ben? Or to the Premier League? We will maybe get back to Ben Jacobs very, very sure. I guess we're not going to know what Ben Jacobs is up to this week.
Well, you want to know that, don't you?
No, because obviously, if you're a football commentator out there, I kind of know what you're doing. I'm probably doing commentaries, you're prepping for games. But being a transfer guru, how is he finding out his information? What is he doing? Where is he basing himself? Who's he going for dinner with tomorrow night? Is he hanging out with Crookie, or he and Crookie on other sides of the country?
Crookie or George Clooney with him being in Hollywood.
Yeah, there we go. These are the things I want to know all about.
And we can't get him back by.
Okay, well, Ben is there.
He is there.
Ben is there. So I think the rule of radio is first time it can happen. Second time is not ideal. If it goes third time, we will just break. Ben Jacobs, Jan Diamonde to the Premier League.
Yeah, Liverpool are trying. PSG are there as well. A few technical gremlins are taking place here. In fact, my producer is being heroic and is gathering all of our equipment and holding it beneath the camera to make sure that we've got a perfect connection and it doesn't drop out again. But yeah, Jan Diamande, Liverpool are trying. So they're actually engaged formally at the moment with Leipzig, and they've already made contact with the player who's here at the World Cup with the Ivory Coast. So this is going to be fascinating to see whether we get any progress now and somebody tries to make a quick move, or if the World Cup kind of stagnates this. And Leipzig are open and have a good relationship with Liverpool to speaking, but it's more about they don't have an answer from Diamande yet as to whether he's going to stay or goes. There's three parts to this story as it stands: Liverpool, PSG and Leipzig trying to get the player to sign a new deal. And until Diamande communicates to Leipzig if he will or won't, that's not going to alter the number, which is extremely high, in excess of 100 million euros, because obviously Leipzig don't want to give any encouragement with a potentially lower number until Diamande makes it crystal clear whether or not he's prepared to sign a new deal, end speculation and stay until summer 2027. But Liverpool are trying. They have made some progress on the player side. PSG can't be discounted. Man United now not really active. They were a few weeks ago, but they were pitching to Diamande, you're playing on the left, whereas Liverpool and PSG like him as a right-sided predominant player, and that is his preferred side as it stands, even though he started his career on the left-hand side. And of course the backhanded encouragement for Liverpool, even though it's not great if PSG were to beat them to Diamande, is then it makes it a bit more likely that Bradley Barcola, another Liverpool target, becomes available on the market.
Ben Jacobs, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll chat to you soon.
Look forward to it.
That is talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs, the transfer guru out in America, doing some wonderful work. Big news in the tennis. Zverev has broken back. He's 2-1 up into the fourth set. Koboli had broken early in that set, but Zverev has just broken back. So it's 3-3 in the fourth set, and Zverev is now serving. So he's just 3 games away from winning his first ever major championship. Next on the Sunday session, we'll be looking back on some of the best bits from the talkSPORT network. And Scott Minto, what was the feature called? Super Scott's? What was it? Super Scott Summary. There we go. We haven't quite got a jingle for it. Maybe next week.
Haven't quite got the name for it
today.
either.
See how it goes. Super Scott Summary. We should have worked on that, shouldn't we, boys?
When you get these Arsenal fans ranting and raving and saying some of the things that they do, and then you get this nitwit over here popping up with his little brand of observation in social media.
What, Piers?
Yeah.
Little brand of 9 million followers.
Whatever, how many followers you've got, Piers.
Well, a lot more than you, Sancho.
Fantastic, but I don't judge my
It's
work
not a
by
little
that.
brand.
But I don't judge myself by those numbers.
This is a little brand. My YouTube channel is 4.5 million subscribers.
I'm delighted.
I have 9 million followers on X. So when I say something to 9 million
I'm delighted.
people, I'm saying it to a lot more millions than you.
I'm delighted.
Yeah, but it's not a little brand. I'm not a little...
Sorry, is this talkSPORT or is this the Jet2 holiday advert? What's going on here? Are they part of us now? The Jet2? I mean, that is. I thought for a second I was on the wrong radio station.
Now you're giving them free advertising. You're expecting a free holiday now?
No, well, I want free advertisement from your barber after that. after plugging your mate who's with the turkey team.
So you're happy with my barnet then? That's what you're saying.
Oh, you've got the mate. I've always said it. You've got one of the best barnets going. Your barber is an absolute genius, and if he wants to just start giving out any more free haircuts, I am here. I am available. Let's make it
I'll
happen.
ask him.
Our final sounds of the weekend, our stories, the England camp vowing to take care of Eberechi Eze and the Real Madrid candidates promised crazy signing. Jess Glynn, hold my hand. Thank you, Paul, the Bournemouth fan. And of course, that's Can't Buy Me Love, the Beatles. Thank you, Kevin, the Brighton fan. My memory is so bad. It was Super Scott's...
I don't know.
Summary. There we go. I'm sorry, Big
Okay.
Al. He's been up since 4 o'clock this morning. He remembers. Super Scott Summary. There we go. 3:30. Sorry, Al. I mean, like that was a really important information that you had to interrupt me mid-flow. Sorry, Al, working behind the decks. 3:30 he's been awake from this morning, not 4 o'clock.
And he said it with passion, didn't he? It wasn't 4. It was 3:30.
I was upset that we didn't have loads of sports bar. Oh, he has been up early, hasn't he? There we go. I teed him up there and absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to going to sleep, Al?
Yeah.
Good man. There we go. We got 3 clips that I'm going to play to Scott. In fact, I was hopefully going to play them to Scott from talkSPORT over the last week. And we'll get his summary on the topic making the headlines. Now, we know Martin O'Neill will stay on at Celtic, but days before the news was confirmed. Right, don't take the mic. Our very own Scott Minto, this is you. You had this to say a couple of days ago, right?
I've got a feeling Martin would love to do another year. I've no idea. I'm not spoken to him. But what he's done, and even listening to him whenever he's come on White and Jordan, he sort of plays it down that, he's too old for this. He's not. He's not. Maybe in terms of the long term, but for one more year, I think he could.
Alex Crook, Ben Jacobs set aside because Martin O'Neill is going to be staying on, and you perfectly called it only a couple of days before it was going to happen.
Well, I don't think you needed to be an Einstein to personally to
Robbie Keane was linked with a few other people.
Yeah, look, I mean, I know there were some Celtic fans who were not happy that he managed in Israel. For me, that wouldn't be important, but I'm not a Celtic fan. I mean, what the follow-on from that was what I actually think Robbie Keane, even though he's won titles in Israel and Hungary as well, would be almost to be Martin's number 2, to learn off the decades of experience that Martin has, and then take over at Celtic. Whether the boards have been listening to that small section of fans and don't want him there, I don't know. Whether Robbie would have taken it because he sees himself purely as a number 1 now. But I still think the experience that Martin's got, the job that he did was nothing short of sensational.
I still can't believe they won the league.
And there were 2 parts to last season as well, don't forget. He came in, steadied the ship, then he went.
Wilfred Nancy being the Celtic manager, that feels like it happened 10 years ago, not last season. Like, it's crazy how quickly things are going.
And it's almost like, it almost feels like, it's people say it's either luck or destiny. Well, the harder you work or the more experienced you are, the luckier you are. I mean, Gary Play used to say that, didn't he? But Martin, to do it in the way that he did it in the very last day of the season, I mean, contentiousness with certain decisions that went on in the last few games, but he did it. And I think it's great for Celtic, great for Martin. Clearly, he wants to do another year. Whether he would have the energy to do even more, I think that there might be an option off the back of that. Let's wait and see. But the bottom line is, Sam, everyone looks towards the future, and I think it's really important to do that. But also, sometimes they forget about the here and now. And I think what he did the season just gone, there's no reason why he can't do it again. Look around. I just think Robbie would have been great to have worked under him and to have worked around him and then taken over after that. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Scott Minto, the ITK, doing bits. Tottenham fans are more than relieved the Premier League safety. We haven't heard this one before. Here's Jamie O'Hara. He's adamant things next season will be very different.
I think the penny's finally dropped. It can't continue. Spurs can't finish 17th. It's unacceptable.
Well, you might actually finish 16th next season.
No, we're not going to finish 16th. We're finishing Europe. We're finishing Europe next season. 100%.
It's a joke.
100%.
Don't know. You can see.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Mate, we'll finish in Europe next season.
Go where? Go on.
7th.
Good season.
What was really good about that clip was the look of disgust on Jason Cundy's face when Jamie O'Hara was saying that. Are you confident Spurs will have a good season next year?
Yeah, I am actually. I think they'll be top 8. They haven't got Europe to worry about. I think Roberto De Zerbi diluted himself to keep them up, and they did it in the end. I do think they were lucky playing a Villa side that made 7 changes and looked like never played together. Their reserve team, and then Everton just were on the beach mentally. So as gutted as I was for West Ham to go down, the bottom line is De Zerbi did his job, and now he's got the keys to the castle. It's good. We heard Ben. I think there'll be lots of comings and goings, and by the start of the season, they want to try and get him in early. I think it's so sort of underrated to get the players in early in terms of the start of pre-season. Yeah. I understand from a financial point of view, but get the deal done, get the manager and the players working together, and I genuinely think Spurs can finish top 8.
To thank football, it's Friday on Friday night. Here's Rory Jennings. He says, if England have to go all the way in the World Cup, the main man, the one that's most important, is Declan Rice.
Look, for England to have any chance of winning it, I think Declan. I'm going to go back to what our Arsenal friend was saying a bit earlier when he called up. The Arsenal fan who had a pop at me. He was right about this. If England are to have any success, Declan Rice needs to have the tournament of his life.
Yeah.
Like if Declan Rice isn't in the player of the tournament conversation, then England haven't won it.
Yeah.
Then England haven't got anywhere. In fact, England could have a good tournament if Ezri Konsa could have a very bad tournament, but England could win it.
Yeah.
England can't win it if Declan Rice has a bad tournament.
So, like, I think if Declan Rice has a really good tournament, that's obviously really, really good. But like, I don't think that is then going to mean that England win the World Cup. Like, there's lots of other things that has to go really, really well. Like, Harry Kane's going to have to score lots and lots of goals.
Yeah.
Jordan Pickford in goal is going to have a really, really good tournament. So Roy's almost saying that, like, well, if Declan Rice gets in team of the tournament, if he has a good tournament, that means England are going to win it. Of course, that's important. But I still also think for England to win the World Cup, we're going to need a lot of other good players to have really good tournaments as well.
Yeah, I think we're only going to have one disagreement today, by the looks of it, Sam.
Boring, isn't it, really? Say something silly, Scott.
No, but I think Declan Rice is going to be really, really important. He is important. He's a £100 million snip. You know, what he's done at Arsenal. And he is the lots of people were chucking the word sort of bottlers at Arsenal. And I think that was really, really harsh. But when they lost to City and we saw Declan Rice kneel down but saying, it's not over yet. That to me said, yeah, he's the type of person you want in the trenches with you, both the club and country. So he is going to be absolutely key. But no, I'm with you. If there's going to be one player, it's Harry Kane. If there's going to be another player, it's probably Jude Bellingham. I agree with you about
Pickford as well.
Jordan Pickford. By the way, how underrated is he, Jordan Pickford?
I get many things in football wrong. I owe Jordan Pickford the biggest apology. That was years ago. I used to think he was bang average, overrated.
He spoke very highly of you. A goalkeeper that used to flap and push at balls, and he used to drive me mad. A shouty goalkeeper. I mean, literally last 3 or 4 years for Everton and England, he has been absolutely unstoppable. So I'm sorry, Jordan Pickford. And he'll appreciate that. I'm sure that'll make.
No,
him
I'm being
feel
honest.
really
Like
good.
I just got it wrong. He's a top keeper, and I never thought he was a top keeper.
He is, and you know, again, with respect to Everton, it is a big club. I'm old enough to remember how good they were in the 80s, but I'm really surprised he's not a Champions League club, and I don't quite get it. He's an absolute big temperament player. When you're playing for England, goalkeeper's the loneliest position on the pitch. And when you're playing for your country and the whole country's watching you, you can easily get a little gremlins inside your head if you make a mistake. And yet for me, he is the one player that actually, even if he makes a mistake, and he doesn't, but even if he does, he's able to handle it. I think he's close to one of our best ever goalkeepers playing for his country.
That's fair. He has never let England down. He doesn't make mistakes in big games. I think he's absolutely top draw. Super Scott summary will be back, hopefully.
Will it though? Will it? Will it?
I enjoyed it.
Did you?
Maybe some like music bumbling underneath it next time is maybe something. But hey, no, we haven't got the budget to play some music out of there. Yeah, there we go.
And no, I think Anil was saying, no, we're not doing it again.
Yeah. Basically, it's been my fault or his fault? Whose fault was it? Was it me asking the questions or him answering the questions? He says, let's break. Coming up next, the co-host of tonight's Final Word, Darren Ambrose, the former Palace midfielder. He'll pop into the studio.
Absolute wet wipes. The lot of yous. Absolute wet wipes. Wow. Oh, he wore a PSG. Oh, he jumped around. Do you know what? If it happened again tomorrow, I would do it again tomorrow. Wow. Up the Chelsea. Here we go. There she There she is. Look at that. Wow. Look at that bad boy.
He took it too far, Dino. He took it too far. He took it too far. Up the PSG. Up the PSG. Up the Champions League. Up the Chelsea. Cundy, you legend. We absolutely love you. Everyone loves you. Sports Bar loves you. The people love you. The Arsenal fans hate you. But who cares? Who cares? You've done it for everyone. Apart from that Chelsea lot. Apart from that Arsenal lot. Eh? Up the Champions League. And Arsenal absolutely bottled it. They bottled it. And I was so glad that he done what he done. And he took it to... It is the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto with you until 6. Now listen up, the FIFA World Cup kicks off on Thursday and talkSPORT sending you and a mate straight to New York to see England live with Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. We're talking a trip to watch England face Panama, return flights, hotel, match tickets and spending money all taken care of. Plus Adidas is throwing in the official try-under match ball and a fresh pair of boots. Ready to get that winning feeling? Here's how to enter for your chance to win. Head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. June 12th. That's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Scott, I'm just watching highlights of the Monaco Grand Prix, and I'm sorry, I don't know who the lady's name is. There was a lady, obviously someone very famous, like walking through the, you know, the areas where they all go. She had two people, not one, but two people holding an umbrella over her head. Like, I understand. Was it Kim Kardashian? I don't know. I couldn't. Well, all right.
You
maybe
should have recognised Kim Kardashian.
No, I know. I was,
he knows.
If it was Kim Kardashian, talking on here. Hi, Darren Ambrose. But like, I just think, like, I understand that you're famous and you have lots of money and stuff like that. But at what point in life do you feel comfortable walking around with two human beings holding an umbrella over your head?
Right, can we clip this up, and then when he's really big time, when he turns 40, we'll play it back to him. He'll have 3 people with umbrellas around him, won't he? I'm sure.
I don't know. Also, I'd love to know, how did you get into that industry? Like, do you have to apply to be the umbrella holder of Kim
that
Kardashian?
industry? Okay.
Gotta get interviewed.
Huh?
Can you hold an umbrella? It's an interview.
No, but it's not just holding it. You have to walk with the same pace there. Well, I guess it was probably really, really sunny. And Kim Kardashian, or the other famous person in Monaco, didn't want to get sunstroke or something like that. Anyway, hi, Darren Ambrose.
Hello,
how are you?
Sam. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I was listening on the way in. I was
Yeah.
going to say the big 40 is a big birthday, but he's just said you're not 40. Happy birthday, mate.
Oh, bang out of order from you, by the way. Yeah. Did you not get me anything?
I was going to. The shops are shut, though, on the way in.
The shops were shut.
Yeah, 4 o'clock they shut
they
on Sunday.
won't. No, they don't.
I got him
They
6
do.
donuts. And
Did you?
You've not had one of them, have you?
No, I did have one.
Did you have one?
Yeah, I did
oh,
have
you
one.
did have one.
Yeah, I
Where
thought
are
you were
they?
going to make a joke.
Where are they then?
No, someone else has had
No,
them.
the rest have eaten.
Honestly, you leave them out in the talkSPORT office, you've got absolutely no chance. Long time no see. How are you?
I'm really good. Really good. Looking forward to the World Cup. Didn't get nothing out of yesterday's game, of course, and we're going to be discussing that.
More
game
from
as
6 p.m.
well.
on talkSPORT this evening.
Yeah, but looking forward to it. Doing a bit of comms. So looking forward to those 3 a.m. Here in the studio. We're buzzing.
Yeah, good stuff. What's coming up on your
Yes,
show?
of course, we're going to talk yesterday and the conditions and how that affects you as a player. You'll know from playing abroad, Scott. We're going to talk, of course, Spurs, a huge summer for Spurs. And with me and Madge both being Spurs supporters, we're going to talk who stays and who goes. And one for the phone-in and the text topic, the most iconic World Cup player since 1990. That's what we're going for. We've got a few.
Good question.
Roberto Baggio.
I've gone R9, be the first one that comes.
R9. I said R9. It's a bit of a tap-in, though.
A little bit, but that's,
Stoichkov as well. There's
Miroslav Klose?
Miroslav
I might
Klose.
be playing with golf with Stoichkov
Really?
in September. Yeah.
But he's on our list. He's one of ours. And producer Ross straight away said Roger Miller. Straight away, Roger Miller. Their iconic dance at the corner flag. So we're going to get a lot of text on that, I'm sure.
Good. How did you end up playing? This man, but you can throw this man any name of any sports. No. He's either played golf with him or been for a drink with him, or he's going for a coffee with him tomorrow morning. This guy's an absolute machine, by the way.
Well, if I do get to play golf in Bulgaria with Stoichkov, I'll say that I actually work with you, and I'm sure you want to be part of that as well, Sam. So.
Yeah, no, of course, he's a big fan of me. I'm led to believe, apparently.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Who isn't?
Oh, I've got the text from him.
Here's a question which we kind of touched on without fully mentioning one particular team. The best club to compete with Arsenal next season between United, City, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool.
Well, look, I'm counting Spurs out of that at the moment. They're not ready to compete at the top at all, and look, that's from a Spurs supporter. I'll be thankful and hoping they'll be competing for Europe.
Yeah,
Spurs.
we said that.
Manchester United looks like they could be real contenders if they continue, but.
And Neil's producer, Neil, big United fan. He's loving that.
You have to think if they can continue that, and it's not the Michael Carrick honeymoon isn't over, and he can continue what they've done, they'll have a huge chance. But you can't look beyond Manchester City. I know Pep's gone and Maresca's coming in, but I think they'll make some moves. And of course, Liverpool will they be coming back at all? Any stronger at all? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think Alexander Isak being fit. And I think we shouldn't forget that he is a world-class centre forward who had a different season last year with the pre-season and the injury. But if he can get himself fit again, you've got a 30-goal centre forward there. Liverpool are going to be much, much better. I think if we can, I think we might be a touch stronger than City next season.
Iraola's a perfect appointment.
I think if United, last summer for United, post Alex Ferguson, I think that was the best summer they had in what, 12, 13, 14 years. They can go again and bring another 3 or 4 players with that same kind of quality coming and making an impact. Then I possibly
we always said they'll come back strong, didn't we? Manchester United. It's been a long time though.
Ollie and Joe
I
might disagree with you there, but
what about the best summers?
Best season?
No. I said it's been the best summer for them in terms of because the 4 signings that came in have all ended up doing pretty well, haven't they? I know they had that one window when Ronaldo came in, superstars came in. But the 4 players came in, made a big impact into that team. I think it was the best summer transfer window for them.
Yep.
Can I ask you about Palace as well?
You can.
Because I know you're a legend down at...
cult hero.
Oh, what's the difference?
I don't know.
Well, you tell me then.
Cult hero is more humble in saying, to be honest. So
for Liverpool, my team, Steven Gerrard would be a legend.
Yeah.
But Dirk Kuyt would be a cult hero.
Yeah.
I think you're a Palace legend.
Well, there's just certain things that can happen, keeping them alive, keeping them running. They would have been out of existence without me. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Stay humble, Darren.
I'm only joking. I just said the word humble, and then you
haven't mentioned the Man United goal,
I was there actually. I was there when they won the Europa Conference. I was at Selhurst Park. I didn't get the gig. Pard's got the gig to go out there. So
no, you were fuming, weren't you?
I weren't fuming. I got to work at Selhurst Park. 15,000 people there.
I've seen the email you sent to the boss.
I don't know the boss's email address.
Apparently, you sent him a link to the goal on YouTube you scored against Man United, saying, "Are you really not taking this guy to the goal?"
It's more than 130-yarder.
Yeah,
but he did say, "Don't you know I'm a Palace legend?"
And the boss went, "You're a cult hero."
It's still in his drafts, by the way. It's still in his drafts. Go on. What do you want to know about Palace next season?
The manager. Who do you want?
I wanted Iraola, but of course he was going way beyond that. I think Thomas Franks had discussions, and
that feels like a good fit.
I said that. I said that would feel like a perfect fit. I was asked this question at Sellers Park on that day. My first choice was Iraola, and my second choice was Thomas Frank. Other than that, look, I know Steve Parish really well. I know he will get it right. He won't just rush into it. He'll get it right. I'm still disappointed Glasner didn't make a U-turn after that and say, look, let's do another year or two. But he made his mind up. But look, I trust Steve Parish to make the right decision, and whoever he brings in, hopefully their league campaign is a little bit better next season. But they've got another European tour to contend with as well.
Darren, good stuff. Go and get yourself a cup of tea.
Enjoy your 15th hour on the show.
Yeah. How many hours are you doing tonight?
3, I think.
Unbelievable,
like that.
honestly.
Still waiting on Majo.
Scott did a 2-hour show last week.
Did with Ollie. Yeah.
In and out.
2-hour show.
In and out.
Felt like that way.
Just put a pre-rec in.
Are you doing comms? Doing comms?
Yeah.
He's doing the first game, aren't you?
I might see you early morning one day.
You may well
in
do,
the office.
Good stuff. The final word, Majestic Darren Ambrose, coming up at 6 o'clock, following us on talkSPORT.
Perez, for his part, has promised he'll appoint Jose Mourinho as manager if he's elected.
She's done it already.
Well, that's what he wants to do, but he's got to get elected to make it official. Riquelme, meantime, for his part, is saying no to Mourinho. He's promised to make Madrid legend Raul his sporting director and will not appoint Mourinho. He says, if I win the elections, I will bring to Real Madrid a superstar manager, the biggest manager you can imagine. Jose Mourinho is not that manager.
You raise me up so I can't stand on mountains. You raise me up.
Our final sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Sam Ellard, Scott Minto, England camp vowing to take care of Eberechi Eze. You raised me up, Westlife, Craig the Burnley fan. That might be the best one. Get those spirits high ahead of that World Cup. Scotty Minto and the Real Madrid candidates promise some crazy, ridiculous signings. They even want to get Scott Minto at left back. You're in good nick, mate. You can still, I reckon you can still. Yeah, come on now. Madonna Into the Groove. Did you get that one? Madonna Into the Groove? Into the financial groove. Okay, there we go. From Jim, the Man United fan. Also, breaking news.
Obviously a Madonna fan as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up Madonna. I've got some breaking news to bring you. I spoke about how there was a person at the Monaco Grand Prix who had two people carrying two umbrellas.
It wasn't Kim Kardashian.
No, it was Kim Kardashian.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. You did say that. You didn't say much conviction, though, did you, Harry? You just said, I think it was. No, fair enough.
You're the only person in the world that wouldn't recognise her.
No, I can't recognise her with two umbrellas covering her face, can I? Thank you to Tom Clayton, who is still being our F1 correspondent, providing me with that information. We are into a tiebreak in the fourth
fourth set at the French Open finals. Zverev won the first set 6-1. Kaboli came back to make it 6-4 in the second. Then Zverev won the third 6-4. 2-1 in sets to Zverev. We are in a tiebreaker, 6 games each. So Zverev wins this final game, wins the tiebreak. He will win the French Open and he will win his first ever major, having lost in 3 finals in the past. Now, though, it's time for this.
I'm a scat man.
He's 19 years of age. He only made his little debut 12 years ago.
No manager has ever started their Premier League career with as many pints as you have.
Naturally, Young has been replaced as well by Sean Dyche. Oh, God, he's doing it right in the peanuts.
Sam Matterface.
I'm a scat man.
You were about to have a go at him there, weren't you?
No.
No, I'm joking.
No, I'd never do that.
He's been up since 3 o'clock this morning.
3:30, by the way, not 4.
Sorry, yeah, no, which one was it?
3:30, not 4.
Confirmation it was indeed 3:30. That is good stuff. We thought we'd bring you an England international special to this week's Statiface, and last night brought a first. It was the first time that both Harry Kane and Ollie Watkins have started a match together for England. My guess is, Scott, I don't think we'll see that soon.
No.
I was going to say never again, but that maybe feels a bit.
Never say never.
No.
And actually, they could be together if it was 2 up front and, again, chasing a goal. But no.
They'll definitely be on the pitch at some point in this World Cup, but they're not going to start together, are they?
No. Starting, no. I mean, that was purely because the Arsenal boys weren't around.
Nowhere to be seen.
And he decided that Ivan Toney would play in the second half as a striker and not Ollie Watkins. I mean, it shows to Ollie how versatile he can be. But, you know, in terms of that sort of defensive point of view, which you obviously need to do now, almost no matter how high up you play, it's not for him. He's a centre forward, and for me, he is the number 2 after Harry Kane.
Really happy that Watkins found form, because I thought first half of the season, I thought he looked a shadow of himself. I don't know whether he was almost looked like he was playing with a knock, maybe. I think
he was.
With being a sharp centre forward, making good runs, and he looked like he was just kind of a little bit off it. And it was actually, ironically, wasn't it after he got left out of the March internationals that he didn't play, maybe had a bit of time off, and then came back and found great form.
I think he's admitted it's almost the best thing that happened to him with not being in the England squad, and that giving him the kick up the backside if he did need it. He was playing with an injury part of the way through the season, and others, it just, it wasn't quite happening for him. But there's nothing like a World Cup and the horizon to just sharpen your mind. And
good time to find form.
Good time.
Good time. Good player.
I see he's a good player. I sat here and in those March internationals, or just after, and I said, you know what? It's one of those where when you're not involved, you get better. And it was good for him not to be involved, because it wasn't a particularly impressive couple of games, and it did give him that kick up the back.
It's a bit like you at talkSPORT. If you're ever
when
off
I'm
for
not
a couple
around,
of weeks, you then come back even better and sharper than ever before.
Just when I'm not around, I'm better.
No, don't be silly.
Okay, Thomas Tuchel picked up his 10th win as England manager last night in his 13th match in charge. Only Glenn Hoddle, in his 12th game, needed fewer matches to reach double figures for victories with the 3 Lions.
I don't know why, but that kind of surprised me a little bit. It feels like we have lost quite a few games under Thomas Tuchel. So I was quite pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a Senegal game.
Yeah, there was a Japan game, wasn't there?
Yeah,
recently as
Japan
well, right?
game, Uruguay.
Yeah,
that must be it. One every game after that.
And we have just got some news coming into us, actually. But we can hear this has been sort of rumoured over the last couple of weeks. But Man United are all set now to officially sign the midfielder Ederson, who has been called up to the Brazil squad for the World Cup after Wesley has dropped out through injury. So maybe a double bit of good news there for Ederson. He's got the World Cup to come, happy days. And that move, Manchester United, been linked with Ederson, the box-to-box midfielder over the last couple of weeks. Man United are all set to sign Ederson and get that confirmed. So Ederson to Man United looks like it is going to happen. We'll bring you more as we get it here at talkSPORT. Our next Statiface, England handed minutes to 22 different players against New Zealand. It was the first time they've done so in any fixture since June 2004, which came against Iceland, a 6-1 win in their final warm-up game before the 2004 European Championships. I mean, it's not all normally in international friendlies. You kind of get 8-9 changes in the second half.
Yeah.
You probably get close to 20 players. But yeah, no real surprise there. We thought that was going to happen, didn't we?
No, this was just about acclimatising, and Thomas Tuchel said before the game that's exactly what he's going to do. So did we get much out of it? Not really, but actually, again, no injuries. But the biggest thing is, I think there were very good individual performances. Marcus Rashford, I thought was good. Anthony Gordon, I thought was good. Jed Spence, who I don't like right-sided left-backs, but I thought he played really well. Actually bombed on Rio Ngamo. Obviously, he's got no chance, as we discussed earlier.
Poor guy.
Which is a real shame. But no, listen, the bottom line is they're acclimatising. It was a good run out for all of them. And we'll move on to the next game.
And Scott, you got a final stat effect
I
for us
have.
today?
I mentioned him at 17 years and 281 days. Rio Ngamo is the 5th youngest player ever to debut for the England's men's team, and the youngest since Jude Bellingham in November 2020, who was 17 years and 136 days. Now, you were going to ask me who the others were. I was going to ask you, but clearly you've got them up.
Yeah, no, I've got them up. I mean, I won't read out the whole.
Wayne Rooney's got to be in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, the top 3 is Bellingham in 3rd, Rooney in 2nd, and the youngest
was Michael Owen?
Nope.
Should I know?
Yeah, I think you can figure this one out.
You going to give me a clue?
We're
off air in a few minutes.
Debut in 2006. Well, this could be good.
Oh, Theo Walcott.
This could be, yeah. I'll say this could be the 2 minutes to take us to the end of the show, couldn't it? Kind of quite good timing, really, Scott. You ruined it by being quite sweet on. Really happy for Rio Ngamo. And whilst he's not going to go to this World Cup, I'm super excited for him next season.
Going forward, and the Euros.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think he's going to have a big role to play next season for Liverpool under Andoni Iraola. And of course, you ready for another hot take from me?
Go on.
I think he will be at the next England major tournament squad. I know.
Wow.
I'm sizzling
the
with
odds
hot takes
on that.
Here. I'm sizzling with hot takes here.
We'll never have to work again if we put money on that.
Put that up on YouTube, and talkSPORT will never have to exist ever again. Scott,
can I just say one quick final thing? We learned this is from Matthew. We learned basically nothing from the England game, but we're not supposed to. I suppose at this stage, all about getting minutes together and the weather conditions. Happy birthday, Sam. Enjoy the tiny Chinese takeaway. You've made me want one tonight as well.
Okay. I also like the top one where it says, now just go and get Wrexham. Okay, there we go. I can't do that because I'm up at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning presenting the early breakfast show on talkSPORT. I thought, Scott, we were going to get the final conclusion of the French Open final into our show. It is 2-1 in sets to Zverev, and it's gone to a tie-break in the 4th. 6-6 in games. It's 4-3 to Koboli in that tie-break. So I don't think we're going to get a result in the next 90 seconds or so. For the final word show, we'll, of course, keep you across all of that. Thank you all very much for your lovely birthday messages over the last couple of hours. I'm thinking chicken and sweet corn soup to start. A little bit of duck, obviously. Get the
prawn
pancakes.
Toast at all?
Oh, yeah, no, prawn toast, spring rolls will be will be there as well. And then, obviously, for the mains, just what? Are you one of those, a mixer, or would you like to have your own dishes?
Crispy chili beef.
Yep. Write this down, actually. This is good.
Any kind of chicken dish, really. Mushroom sauce is nice, or sweet and sour.
Yep.
Chicken.
Yep.
You are writing them down.
Yeah.
What else would there be?
I don't know.
Do you go for the duck?
Yeah, I said duck.
You said duck. Okay, cool.
But I do feel like with Chinese, though, if you have your starters with soup and then duck, you sometimes get to your main and you are struggling a little bit.
Well, you always order far too much and throw loads away.
Leftovers for tomorrow.
Yeah, but
I think Chinese is a takeaway which you can do leftovers the next day.
Don't leave rice more than 24 hours in the fridge.
Well, I think Declan Rice will be fine. I think 24 hours rest coming over to the... That was an awful way to finish the show.
On that note...
What was I doing? Like, if somebody's just tuned in for the last 90 seconds of this show, I think we've gone pretty well over the last 3 hours and 56 minutes, but we haven't gone well over the last 90 seconds.
They'll only remember the end, mate.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Talk food coming up. Scott, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
This has been the Sunday session. It's now 5-4 to Koboli in that tie break. Don't go anywhere because coming up next on talkSPORT, it is the final word. Majestic and Darren Ambrose are live next on talkSPORT.
And the whole day should be spent.
Crookie, what about Elliot Anderson? We're led to believe that opening bid from City has been knocked back from Forest. Is it just a case of a matter of time, this one getting over the line?
I think so, and again, no surprise that City have tried to make their move early. We were told at talkSPORT a couple of weeks ago that in an ideal world, Elliot Anderson's future would be sorted before he kicks his first ball for England at the World Cup. Obviously, City are trying to get this one done. We know that Evangelos Marinakis can be a difficult negotiator. Just ask Tottenham and Morgan Gibbs-White from this time last year. But all the information I have is that City have always been Elliot Anderson's preferred choice, despite the fact there's also interest from Manchester United. This is a deal I do expect